Very talented.
Damn it. Hold on.
Welcome to the Gaming and Drinking Cast. Adam is having technical difficulties.
Yep. This normally works. It's not working.
Wow. This is
great
content.
Fuck it. I'm using a lighter. There we go. Hey, everybody. This is the Gaming and Drinking Cast. I just struggled really hard to open my beer with my ring, trying to be a cool kid.
That
impressive. Didn't work. That's why I'm a nerd, because I can't do the cool stuff when it matters. Yeah. So this is episode 2, and we're here. We're back. Another week in the books.
Yeah.
And I have some delicious beer. I'm sure Travis does too.
Absolutely.
I went to St. Petersburg, Florida, the other day.
Nice.
And went to the Green Bench Brewery, which I'd never been there before. It was all right. It was cool. There's like they got the little like AstroTurf yard out back for all the dogs and stuff.
Oh yeah. Those are always fun.
Yeah, but they had some really cool looking bombers, and I got this one, the Random Reality Shift.
Ooh.
It is.
Give me a rundown of that.
It is an imperial mixed culture, fodder fermented, and wine barrel aged. Then it's golden ale fermented on Balaton cherries, and it's a mix of those. And
sounds really sweet.
It's 10.1%.
Nice.
And
see, I'm starting it out right. 10.1%. Let's get it.
Yeah, man. I've been excited. This bomber cost me $22.
That's how you know it's good.
Oh yeah, smells great.
I can taste it from here. That when they ferment stuff with like the cherry, I feel like it always has like that sweetness on the end of it. It gives it a little bit of an extra kick that I really dig.
Yeah, I'm loving it, man.
Cool.
Yeah. What about you? What you drinking?
So this is Blake's blueberry lemonade. Blake's is a cidery out of Michigan. They are incredible. I mean, they're blowing up. They're taking over your Angry Orchards and all that stuff. This is really good cider. It's 6.5%. All of their beers tend to be over 6%, and it does not taste. You can't even taste alcohol. This tastes like you're drinking a lemonade in the summertime, and it is amazing. Nice. I love everything that they do, and this is their seasonal for the summer. Comes in a 16-ounce can. Like, how many times do you see ciders in a 16-ounce can? Like, they're serious about this, and it's, dude.
Okay. Yeah, this is 12 ounces, but nice and tart. But one thing I did not like, I don't like to ever say anything I don't like about a brewery, because I love breweries, but they didn't let you try samples. Which I thought was really, really weird. Like, Amy was like, hey, can I try a sample of, like, they had like 15 taps or something. And
wow.
They're like, no, but we can do a 4-ounce pour.
And charge you for it?
And charge you for it.
Wow. That's, I don't know about that. I don't really like, I've heard of Green Bench. So, I mean, they're clearly, they're
pretty big. They sell all over Florida.
Distributed pretty widely. But that's weird. I don't think I've ever run into not only a brewery, but just a bar in general that wouldn't let you sample unless they were, just kind of.
I don't know
assholes.
If it was a miscommunication or what, but Amy was like,
it sounds like it'd be pretty hard to miscommunicate. Can I try a sample? And then them saying, no,
we'll give you a 4-ounce pour for $5 or something.
We would like to charge you whatever way we can. Just let us, we'll give you something, but we're gonna charge you for it.
Yeah, you want to taste this? You gotta give us some money.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was really good.
That's cool.
We actually had we had a really big day out in St. Pete. So we had these tickets. St.
Pete, huh?
Yeah, man. St. Pete, old St. Pete. So there is the Salvador Dali Museum in St. Petersburg.
Yeah.
And they had
some of your pictures. They look really cool.
Dude, it was so much fun. And so there's all like Dali's original art there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that was really neat. But then they also had this exhibit, which is why we went, which is called like Van Gogh Alive.
Oh, cool.
Which is where they basically set up like 50 projectors in this like dark room hallway area with like all these like canopies and columns and everything.
Wow.
And then it makes you feel like you're inside of Van Gogh's paintings and they're moving, and it also like goes through his whole story of his life.
Oh, that's cool.
Dude, it was really, really cool. And also Dolly, man, he was a weird dude.
Yeah,
absolutely. Dude, he had some funny names of paintings. One of them was like it was a painting of a melting skull that had like a protrusion coming out of it that was going inside of a piano, and it was called like Dream Skull fornicating a piano or something.
Very literal. I like it.
Okay, all right, Dolly. Okay, dude.
He's not gonna let you get confused about what this painting is about. No, like you're not gonna interpret this. He's gonna fucking tell you.
He's boning that piano.
There's some piano fucking going on in this piece.
Yep.
So other than that, what have you been up to?
So we went there. Also, coming up, I'm gonna have a Brew Bus beer. Okay. I've talked about them a lot. I really like that brewery. Mm-hmm. And we got some bad news this week.
Oh, no.
Brew Bus is closing their brick and mortar location, which is really, it sucks. They've always shared a location. It's been Brew Bus and Florida Avenue in the same building, and Florida Avenue has a second location down the road, and they're still going to have that location. But Brew Bus and Florida Avenue are both leaving that one brick and mortar store.
Right.
So Brew Bus originated as they were a brewery based out of a bus. And so that's why they called themselves Brew Bus, which was really cool. And so they're going back to that model.
They're one of those, I don't know what they're actually called. I always call them gypsy breweries because they basically travel around to other people's breweries and like collab with them.
Yeah, like what's the other one? Green Hand or something like that? Evil Twin.
Evil Twin's the one that I was going to talk about. They're awesome. Untitled Art does that a lot too. I don't know if they are the hosts for a lot of these, but I have 2 Untitled Arts that I'm going to be drinking later, and they're both
cool
collabs with other breweries. So I don't know if they're the gypsies or if the other breweries come to them. But I really like their stuff. So that I like that the idea of that. We have one in Colombia. Can't remember the name of him, but he's like a traditional German style brewer, and he does collabs everywhere with a bunch of the breweries in Colombia. And then they set up down at the Riverwalk. They do like big, walking fest type thing. It's always good because he doesn't Beer Keller, that's the name of it. He doesn't really have like a standing location, so he just sets up wherever he can, and they bring food trucks, and it's awesome. It's very cool.
Yeah. The main thing I'm gonna miss about Brew Bus is the service there is awesome. The people there are awesome, but also the food menu, man. I know I've talked about it before, but holy crap, I'm gonna miss that food menu. I had some. We got the news. We weren't even planning on going there this weekend, but then Amy saw on Twitter or something that they were closing. She's like, "We got to go today." I was like, "Yeah, we did."
Right.
So we went, and I had some General Tso's chicken wings.
Ooh.
And they are like jumbo.
Delicious.
Their wings are like this big, dude. And they bread the crap out of them, and they're so good. And yeah, dude. And they had a kimchi burger.
Ooh.
Oh,
was like the meat the kimchi?
No, it was just a burger like on top of kimchi and like pickled vegetables on it.
Nice. That's cool.
Oh yeah.
Sounds
so good.
Really good.
Yeah. So yeah, we did a lot of that. We went to a couple breweries, went to the museum, and it was just a really, really chill, fun day. We also went to the St. Pete Pier, which is like they just opened it last year, I think, and it's huge. It's really cool. There's like a 3-story building on the middle of the pier that's just like a bar on top of a bar on top of a bar.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
And so we went to the top one, and they have like little cabanas set up all over the top of it, and you're like in the middle of the ocean, and it's like the really hoity-toity part of St. Pete. And so it's like
as opposed to the rest of the less hoity-toity part of St. Petersburg.
Yeah. But dude, there was like all sorts of, there was like people on like sailboats all over the place. And there was like, those hydrofoils.
Yeah.
Dude, there was like 5 or 6 people on hydrofoils just like riding around the pier. And that
sounds awesome. Yeah. It sounds like something out of like the opening establishing shot of like Jaws, when they're like, here's all the people having fun in the summertime. We're about to fuck it up.
Yeah. Yeah, just waiting for that sea monster to come.
Right. Everyone's having a good time with their brews and their hydroplanes and the yada, and here comes the fucking shark. Let's go.
Oh, they're
that's
there.
awesome.
They're definitely
Oh
there.
yeah, you know, because well, no, I was gonna say Jaws is up in like Martha's
Like
Vineyard,
Michigan
or
or
something.
something. Isn't it?
No, it's Maine, or it's one of the, it's something up north, because Martha's. I think it was maybe shot in Martha's Vineyard, but it's definitely supposed to be like Maine or one of those like northern coastal towns where it never gets warm. I don't understand how people get in the water. So, you know, being in South Carolina, or like in, you know, the beaches down here, it's 98 degrees in May. So I can't imagine what the winter is or the summer is like in Maine when it's like 60. Oh, let's go get in the ocean. I don't know about all that.
Hey, so I know you said you went out with, so we've got a buddy named Jeff. How was that last night?
It was fun. So we went to Black Rooster, which is a newer restaurant in Columbia. It's right across the bridge in Casey, and it has a rooftop bar. And that's kind of like a thing that Columbia is doing a lot of right now, which is basically having like a cool bar up top, and you just, you know, have drinks and you can see the city skyline. There's not like a, you know, Columbia skyline ain't the greatest thing in the world, but
got that Bank of America building, bro.
It does have you got the BB&T, not Bank of America.
Excuse me.
But it's cool. Like it does look a lot better at night now than it used to, and I think that's directly because of all the rooftop places that people are opening up. But it was cool. We had a few drinks there. I had a few beers and stuff. I try not to drink cocktails when I go out anymore, because I like it's just not, I'm not a huge cocktail person in the first place, but I'll try stuff when like the bartender recommends it. And my friend was working and she made me this one that was like it's called Lost in Translation, and it was a tequila based one, and it was really good. But then I switched to beer after that and just stuck with beer for the rest of the night, because I feel like my hangovers are less bad when I tend to stick to one instead of going back and forth, you know, between the two.
Yeah, so yeah, we actually talked about that a little this morning. Like before we started recording, Travis had like what was that?
It was
that
Maker's
bourbon?
Mark. Yeah, bourbon.
Makers had a tall glass of Makers. He's like, I'm gonna chug this real quick because this
the hair of the dog. Yeah. So our other friends, Jordan and Tia, came out, and they're actually moving back to Texas. And he's a armed military. He's military. God, I don't know what's wrong with my brain. He's military dude, so he's going back to Texas soon. So we all just went out and met up, and everyone like kind of had like a going away type party, and ended up staying out way too late. And so that's where we're at now.
I was up too late last night too, and you know what I was doing?
What were you doing?
I was playing some Destiny 2. Dude,
awesome.
I have not played any Destiny 2. I actually haven't touched Destiny since Destiny 1.
I'm really excited to hear how you feel about it, because I know we played briefly the other day, and you were kind of feeling it out, kind of figuring out how the game runs now, because it does run pretty differently than Destiny 1 did. If you haven't played in between, then it's very different.
Yeah, it is way different. There are so many menus now, and so many different
quest trackers and
currencies, man. Currencies and quest trackers, and yeah, I like, as soon as you start, it's like, here's 40 bounties.
And that like, that is that game. Like, even, you know, I've been playing for 3 years now, 4 years, however long it's been out, and I still, every time you log on, the first thing you do is get your bounties, because there's dailies, there's weeklies. You know, it is 100% that game, which I find I can go either way on that stuff. I like a more, you know, directed experience. A lot of the times I would prefer like the World of Warcraft style of quest logs and stuff, but Destiny's is more like the live service. It's
kind of seamless. It's like you kind of just go through and play the game, and you get the bounties happen.
Exactly. Yeah. It's more of a reason to dive in every day, as opposed to like, I'm going to do this specific quest because I want to see the storyline or whatever. It's like, no, I need to do this because it's going to give me the most bounties.
I don't care about that story at all, dude. I skipped every cutscene. Like,
it's actually, it's some pretty good storytelling. If you play, so they did a weird thing where they collapsed some of the content. So you can't play, I think the actual Destiny 2, like, storyline that launched with the game. I don't even think you can play that right now.
Yeah, I mean, it literally it started you the exact same way as Destiny 1.
Right.
When I created my character. By the way, I created a warlock who is the Exo warlock.
That's what mine is too.
Is the Exo the alien guys?
They're the synthetic. They're
no,
like,
okay. I'm not Exo. I'm the not the Fallen. The freaking.
I know what you're talking about. I don't know the name of them.
I don't know, like the blue and white people.
Right. Yeah.
And I created a guy that looks exactly like Brandon Lee's the Crow. he looks
weird touchstone. 12 people in the audience got that reference.
He's got the hair that goes over. He's got the black eyes and the black lips.
The Joker makeup thing that comes down like that.
They didn't have that, but I got the closest thing, which was like spikes going up and down on both sides.
Basically the same thing.
Yeah. He looks just like the Crow. It's great. And so I just skip all the cutscenes because I figure the Crow wouldn't care about this.
That's true. Yeah, fuck it. You're role playing. We're role playing here. You're kind of like the Doom Marine, just punching people. Give me the action. Let's go.
Where's the bad guys? I want to shoot them.
I just want to shoot somebody. I mean, that game is really good for that.
Feel so good.
They feel so that's what you can say about Destiny. Even if you don't like the gameplay style or like the way they do missions, the way their structure, which I can definitely see the criticism and that stuff. The one thing you really can't criticize is the gameplay feel. Like that game feels amazing to play, and it always has. That's the one thing they nailed from the very beginning. I don't always like what I'm doing in that game, but it's fun to do it. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, I mean, even when you're just running around doing like patrol missions, like you still feel like a badass.
Yeah,
when you're doing it.
Yeah.
Even if it's the most mundane thing, you're running around with your like badass hand cannon or your sniper rifle or grenade launcher or whatever.
Right.
And you just always feel like you are the superhero that you want to be.
The thing about that game is that you can always have a good time doing. You can always find something to do in that game, and there's usually going to pair you with, two or I think it's two other people, right? That's always
it's a group of three.
And you can just get in there and do like 3 or 4 missions and feel like you got a satisfying gameplay experience. It's really smartly done, and I think the more that they've distanced themselves from Activision and the way that they wanted to sequelize everything, the better that game has gotten. Every time they update, it seems to get just a little bit better. So I'm interested to see what they do next. Like I wonder if we're going to get like a Destiny 3, or if they're just going to keep updating this game in perpetuity. You know what I mean?
I think they'll make a Destiny 3 eventually, probably for the new hardware. But they still are milking that cow for all it's got.
I mean, if they're making money, like I don't see why you wouldn't.
There's so many different ways to spend money in that game. There are so
many different types of money to spend.
Yeah. Like I was seeing all sorts of like emotes and hats and cool. Like there was one guy that was wearing like a denim, like straight up like denim and corduroy.
Oh,
like,
that's cool. I haven't seen anything like that yet.
What? That's a Destiny guy?
Have you seen? So they did the Warcraft thing where they put glowy bits on everything. So like everyone running around wants glowy bits because it looks cool as shit. You put glowy bits on your gun. You can put your glowy bits on your gun, on your armor, like all that stuff. It's super smart. And what's cool about that stuff is that means that person's kind of a badass. It's kind of like the trails in Apex or whatever. Like when you see that, you're like, oh yeah, that guy put in the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm definitely still like level 1, but my light level is like 11 something.
Well, I think everyone
automatically jumps you.
It automatically starts. Yeah, it starts you at that. So they give you a base, and I think the onboarding for Destiny 2 is really good, as opposed to like when they first went free to play. It was kind of hard for people who had never played or hadn't played in a while. It was really hard to bring them back in because they were just like bounties everywhere and quests and like go here, go talk to this guy, go do this, clan this, clan that, And this now is like they ease you into it a little bit better. I think it's actually really smartly done.
Yeah, I agree. One thing that I saw when I was playing with Rich last night, we had both. He had jumped in about the exact same amount that I had before me and him started playing together. We like did the opening mission, and then we were like, all right, let's get together and join up. Right. And so we started playing, and then it was like, okay, you got to go to the tower and talk to everybody.
Got to go to the tower every single time.
So we go. I'm trying to go to the tower, and it won't let us go together. It was like you have too many people, or one of your people can't go to the tower yet. That it kept giving us those 2 messages, each of us. And I was like, well,
Was it like because it was
maybe
a story
Rich,
thing that they had to do by
yeah,
yourself?
I guess. Yeah, it said you had to do it in single player, but we went in there individually. We're like, all right, let's break up. I'll go do it, and
And then you
go
saw
do
each other?
No,
Oh,
it
that would
was
have been funny.
no.
Like fuck
No,
you, game.
for this part, it's like just a tutorial. It's kind of like when you open up Monster Hunter and you get to the town. It's like, all right, here's your blacksmith. Here's
Oh
your
yeah.
weapon.
You probably have to do that in single
So
player.
yeah, but it was really weird because we were talking to each other while we were both doing it, and we were like, all right, yeah, all right, I'm at this blue door now. All right, I'm also at this blue door now. I'm going to talk. This like we were doing it at the exact same rate.
And you're like, really, why wouldn't they just let us do this?
Yeah,
together,
instead we took 15 minutes trying to figure out like how to do it. And
but then after that, you were probably
we did it and we got back together, and then that was it. And
after you did it, you went back in, right? It was fun. You could go to the tower together.
Yeah, it was really dumb that it made us do that separately though.
They all those games, it's kind of like I think the Division 2, you have to like play the opening mission by yourself or something like that, and then you can like get in the party. With those kind of games, especially with those multiplayer focused games, the live service ones, I wish they would just let you from the rip just do it, get together. I understand there's like, because Outriders does that too, where you have to play this like incredibly long opening level, and then you can finally get to where you can party up with your friends and stuff. And I think I understand from a storytelling perspective why they do that stuff, but like honestly, who goes to live service games for the story? Like I couldn't tell you what the fuck happened in Destiny 1 or 2. It doesn't really matter. You're there to shoot aliens. Yeah, now you can like the new expansion, I think, is like you can do dark powers or some shit.
Yeah, dude, that looks cool. But also another little kind of nitpicky thing was Rich had never played any Destiny before.
Ooh, nice.
And so I was kind of like showing him the ropes, and I'm somebody that hasn't played Destiny in like 5 years.
Right.
So I'm trying to remember all this stuff. And one thing was everyone that's in your fire team has to turn in the quest. You can't just have one guy turn in the quest and
move
on.
I saw that with you when we were playing briefly, and I was like,
this is dumb. Like,
yeah, I didn't.
Can't just one of us turn in the quest, like, because Rich is all the way on the other side of the map.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I can't even return to orbit until he comes back and turns in the quest.
It really doesn't make any sense because your instance together, right? Like, so you're in the same world.
He opens up a loot box. Like, I see that loot box opened up on my
screen. I do not understand that. I don't know why they did that, because I feel like because we were playing what was the
Borderlands, dude.
Borderlands, and all those games they work that way, where if you turn it in, I get the credit for it too, and I don't have to walk all the way over.
Seamless and so perfect. Like the way Borderlands does their instancing and their
loot sharing
progression. It should be emulated by every live service game.
I wasn't the biggest fan of Borderlands 3 from a gameplay perspective, but I think all the stuff that with the loot sharing and the way they do instance worlds and the way they do the multiplayer, I think all that stuff is super, super smart, and they've done a really good job of finding a way to keep you come back without like frustrating you. And I think that's the worst thing you can do in one of those live service games is frustrate the player. Yeah. Like the way that you have to, if Rich has to go all the way back to the quest giver and turn it in just right after you've already done that, that's kind of a bad gameplay design, I think, for me. It's a little frustrating.
Yeah, but other than that, other than like those little nitpicky kind of quality of life little things, the game overall, I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I haven't stayed up till 4 a.m. playing
video game, yeah,
in a really long time. But
that's
like
awesome.
we got in that loop, man, and we just started going, and it was just a lot. We had a blast.
It's definitely one of those games where you can do like just one more quest. We're just gonna do one more. We're gonna do one more mission. One more quest.
That exact thing happened like 3 times.
That's great. I love that.
And it just, when you get into those like respawning restricted zones and you got a mini boss
time
coming,
to buckle down.
Yeah, and like it gets so tense because sometimes like it'll change forms and something crazy will happen and 2 of you will go down and it's like, oh shit, it's all on me now.
Yep.
Either I've got to get these guys up or I got to survive for 30 seconds.
Right. Yes, I love it. Like that's the edge of the seat. Like you have to do this or your whole team goes down. and you just barely pull it off, it feels so satisfying.
Which is why I'm really excited to get back into this game and eventually get to the raids.
Oh, dude, yes, raids are next level. They are, oh man, they're so good.
I've only done 2 raids. I did the Vault of Glass in Destiny 1, and then I did. Oh, they brought it back. It's
I know.
back.
I'm excited.
I love it. I'm gonna play it again. I'm gonna play it again.
As much as I like, that was frustrating the first time you did it. Look, because we played
that together.
We did. Yeah, we were on this is Destiny 1 era for people who don't know. Destiny 1's very first raid was the Vault of Glass, and everyone was figuring it out at the same time. And you want to talk about some frustration? Holy shit! Like
the meta around that moment was really cool.
It was great. It was so much fun, except when it wasn't. When it was really frustrating. But I am excited now that I know how those things work, especially like that was the first raid. So you didn't really know how Destiny's raids worked. So like you're coming from like a World of Warcraft background or a Final Fantasy 14 background where you're playing raids like an MMO style thing. That's not really how Destiny's raids works. Destiny's raids are more like a puzzle, right? Like you're figuring things out.
Shooter puzzle.
Right. And Vault of Glass has all these fucking ridiculous I think that's the one with the loop, the ball. You have to put the loops through the holes, right? Or the balls through the holes at certain times. And like everyone has to do it at the exact right time, and if you fuck up once, the whole thing resets and you got to start from the beginning again. Not the whole raid, but like that whole section. And it can take, God, I mean,
and they give no hints. There's no indication as to what you got to do.
It's basically an entire Dark Souls game in one one little contained thing. And the first time people played it and they got through it, it took like 8 hours or something, right? And now if you go back and do it, it takes like, an hour if you know what you're doing, right? But it's like 8 hours of spending.
Yeah, I thought it still took 8 hours. I didn't know people.
Oh, no. You can. Like once you know what you're doing, it's really not that, because a lot of the 8 hour stuff is like figuring out what you're supposed to do. But once you know what you're supposed to do, you just go in there and do it, right? Especially if everyone knows what they're doing. The problem is a lot of times when you get in there, there's new people and you have to explain it to them, which would be me doing it.
That would be me. Yeah. I always felt that's one thing. I always felt like I was the guy bringing the team down every time I did. Like if I would get in like a Destiny raid, I did Taken King with my buddy Jacob. And in that raid, I was the newbie. Everybody else had done it 1,000 times. And there was like at the end or somewhere toward the end, there's like these invisible platforms that you got to take a ball from and like do some shit with it. I don't know. And I kept fucking it up.
I think that's what I'm actually talking about. Maybe that wasn't Vault of Glass. That was like the Gilded Throne or whatever. Yes, where you have to like hop on the platform, shoot this one thing at a specific time, and then the ball comes through on the railing up top.
Yeah, and dude, we came so close. I never beat that raid. I came very close. Came very close like 3 or 4 times, and I said, I'm done. I can't. That was when I quit. That was when I quit playing
Destiny. Yeah. It can be frustrating.
Because like 1 or 2 times, Jake would be like, yeah, dude, we beat it like 10 minutes after you left.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh my God.
I think if you let, well, first of all, with us now, it'll probably be us doing it. So it won't be frustrating we won't be the new, or you won't be the noob because we'll all be noobs. But I think if you go in and you tell people like, hey, I've never done this raid before, most people, either they will immediately quit or kick you out, or they'll be like, hey, we'll guide you through it. Because honestly,
they were really cool about guiding me through it, but I still could not figure some of that stuff out.
Yeah, it is fun, and it's also very frustrating at the same time. And I think those two things can coexist. That's basically Destiny in a nutshell,
Yeah. So I played a lot of Destiny last night.
Awesome.
I've also, I am back on my Mass Effect bullshit. I never left it. I'm still in my Mass Effect bullshit. And it's still great. I mean, I don't know what else I can really say about it that I haven't already said. One thing I can kind of say is that I have opened up the whole squad now. I have all the options for like having my people. And I'm usually rolling with Rex and Talizora. And
that's purely from a gameplay need, right? You're not doing it because of the character. Although this character is really good, you're probably doing
I do like Rex a lot. I am doing it strictly because with those 2 particular ones, I then get an even.
Your bars are all even.
My bars are even between tech and biotics and combat.
Right.
My note here actually says I only roll with Erdnot, Rex, and Talizora Naraya. Fuck everybody else. They even out the squad. That's my notes in there. But I did unlock what's her name? Laria? Is that her name? Liara?
Liara. Mm-hmm.
Also totally gonna hook up with her. I've already started down that road.
Nice.
So that'll be fun.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is she's like a blue alien chick.
Mm-hmm.
And I told Amy, I was like, Amy, I found the chick that I'm gonna hook up with in this game. She's like, who? I'm like, see that chick with the blue alien hair over there?
Mm-hmm.
She's like, yeah. And then she pointed out, she's like, you know, I also have blue hair, right? I was like, oh.
There's a crossover here. I can see where I'm going.
Yeah. I think blue hair might do it for me, man.
Especially when it's on like the blue alien chick. I think that's like she's a very striking looking person in that game, and she's definitely the one that I think a lot of people romance the first time out, because Ashley, the human character, is pretty boring.
Sucks. She's super racist.
Yeah, she's very racist. I think you're gonna like some of the stuff that happens later on. I think you're gonna figure out some stuff with her that you're gonna be happy with. So she's just incredibly like rote and kind of one note, and Caden's the same way. I mean, not that you're like doing the humans are the most boring characters in that game, I think. And
I honestly haven't even talked to Caden.
Okay, he's very much so. There was a character in KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic 1, that is very similar to Caden and is also voiced by the same guy who plays Caden. So I get them like, to me, they're basically the same person. And I think that they're like the goody, the paragon, the, whatever. I don't think that character's super
it's
interesting.
Boring. I really enjoy, I'm enjoying the other characters a lot more.
I think Garrus is probably the best character in the game, and he's also maybe the most popular character in the series as far as like your like allies and stuff. Mm-hmm. He's got a very specific viewpoint on a lot of things, and he doesn't do like just the good or the bad path. He's very down the middle, like whatever the situation calls for, he's going to do it. And I think that's why he's a beloved character, because he's a lot more interesting than just like the static, good guy or static, rogue kind of person.
Yeah, I really like Rex. Is probably my favorite though. I love Rex, dude. He's always in a bad mood. He's always just like, get the hell out of my face. But I had a conversation with him last night where now I understand why. Mm-hmm. I understand why him and his people are the way they are.
Oh, the genophage. You just learned about the genophage.
Yeah. And so that was really cool. And now I have more of an understanding for them.
That's great.
And there's just so much of that going on. But anyways, I'm not gonna ramble on about Mass Effect anymore this week, just because I know we've talked about it a lot. Yeah, but we
can pick up more when we both get to 2. I know I said I'd be in 2 already, but what I decided was I'm going to play this game. Like, I think the problem with these like remasters and when they come in like a big package like this is you're like, let's get to the next game. I know the next game is like really good, so let's go ahead and get that. And you're kind of like not enjoying the game that you're playing because you just want to see what's next. I don't want to play that this way. So what I decided was I'm going to try to enjoy this as fully as I possibly can, and then I'll get to the next one when I get to it.
That's
and not try to rush through it, And I think the big thing with Mass Effect is that everyone knows that 2 is the beloved one. Everyone knows that 2 is the masterpiece. So a lot of people might not even play 1 or they're just mainline the story, and that is fine. I think that's very fair. But for me personally, I think I want to see everything that you can do. I want to play it like I did back in 2007 and just do as much as I possibly can. And if I get burnt out on it, then I'll just mainline the rest of the story. Because honestly, you can finish the story pretty quickly if you just do the main stuff. But I think
going to those side planets is like half the enjoyment.
And like you said, you had that conversation with Rex that you could completely miss, right? You could just not talk to them.
I actually didn't even know. That's like, you bring up a good point with that, because I didn't know about those conversations. I actually called you yesterday and I was like, yo,
how do I bang this chick?
I want to hook up with Liara. How do I do this?
Right.
And you're like, oh, well, you just got to talk to her in between missions. I was like, oh, you can go talk to people between missions? And you're like, yeah. And because I'd literally been just going from mission, Citadel occasionally, mission. and not really spending any time running around my ship and talking to people. But then once I realized I could do that, now I've got all these new dialogue options and trees and even more depth to dive into. And
I'll tell you that
it's the gift that keeps on giving.
You unlock other missions by talking to people. Like I just got one from Garrus. I did a bunch of dialogue with him, and it opens up like a super personal mission for him that you can go do later, which is so cool. And you can just miss that stuff if you don't talk to people, which is, I think that's good. I like that kind of stuff where you're not forced down that path. If you want to experience the richness of it, you can. And if you just want to go do the story, you can do that too. And I think that both those styles are valid, and that this one game gives you both a way to do both of them. I think it is super smart. And I think Mass Effect is a brilliant series. But I do have, there's something about this game that I have to complain about. I have got to get it off my chest, and it is the fucking sound. So I don't know. Are you playing with a surround sound system?
No, I'm playing either on headset or with just my TV speakers.
So I imagine if you're on headset, it probably sounds okay. The mastering, I don't know if this is in engine or if they did something with the remake, something about the mastering of the sound. So the dialogue, in a surround sound system, the dialogue is supposed to come out the front, right? Like that's where the dialogue comes out.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know exactly where you're going with this.
For some reason, the dialogue comes out of the back left speaker. I'm like, what? Why did they do that?
I thought it was positional.
It is supposed to be positional. So
so if the camera is like to the top left of them, then it'll be coming from the front right speaker or vice versa.
So in most games, when that happens, it doesn't change varying like depending on where the person is in like camera view. It's more in relation to you.
I know that, but I thought that I noticed that that's what was going on.
It's not that it's positional. It's just that it always comes out of that back speaker until occasionally it will pop to the front like it's supposed to. But for some reason it doesn't. It just 99% of the time it's coming out of the back left speaker. And then whenever you go to like do the jumps, and when you go to the Mass Effect field, it is incredibly loud. Like it's so much louder than the rest of the thing. And I'm like, why? Why did you guys do this?
That is insanely loud.
I'll be playing like
blows out the speakers.
And like I'll be playing like Sean will be upstairs, and I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. Like I forgot that it's going through it's incredibly loud. Like I don't know why it does that. I hope there's a patch coming for that because it drives me nuts. Like when you have a really good surround sound system, like especially with a game like this that's so cinematic, you want to experience it the way that it's supposed to be done, and it takes me out of the immersion every single time. It drives me nuts. So I really, really hope they fix that. I mean,
if you think about it, those mass, I can't remember what are they called? Mass relays, dude. They would be incredibly loud.
That's a little bit less of a frustration. It's definitely more of the positional audio that kills me. It just it's so annoying. But that's something they can fix. I was reading on Reddit.
First world problems, am I right? This speaker is my surround sound system. It doesn't sound good in my surround sound.
I was reading on Reddit, and it said that this is like a problem that because of whatever sound engine they used, but it sounds like it probably can be patched. So that's good.
Okay.
We can move on from Mass Effect because we talked about that game a lot.
I know you've got another game that you just started that you talked about a little bit last week.
Okay. Yeah. So I have been playing Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne HD Remake. That is the full title. It's very Japanese.
Shin Megami Tensei 3 Nocturne Remake.
HD.
HD remake? Okay. Shin Megami Tensei
actually, HD
Nocturne
Remaster.
3 HD Remaster.
Remaster, yes.
Right off the tongue.
Right off the tongue. So this is the third game in the Shin Megami Tensei series. It is the first one that came over in the West. As far as the mainline series go, the Persona games, Persona 2 Innocent Sin came over on like PS1, I think. But this was the first of the mainline series to come over. And I played it back in the day in the PlayStation 2 era. It wasn't really my thing because I was more of a traditional RPG guy. Like I was a Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, and this game is not like them at all. It is very dark. It's a lot of dungeon crawling. I mean, you can be, so how in most RPGs, the random battles stop when you get into a town or whatever?
Yeah.
This does not do that. You can be walking.
Like you can be like outside of the store.
Literally you're walking in between like the store and like the where you fuse your demons and things like that. And you're getting attacked. It is super bizarre.
No longer are you, like what the Professor Oak say, stay out of the tall grass. It's like
right.
stay out of this world.
There is no, but I think what that does is it contributes to the overall kind of oppressive atmosphere. And one thing that this game has in spades is atmosphere. It is absolutely dripping with style, with this kind of like dark, philosophical thing that permeates the entire experience, and it is very, very good. It's super you know, the like lonely feeling you get when you play like a Metroid or something like that like isolation and stuff. This game nails that feeling, which I really, really dig in some of the games that I play. I don't want to play those kind of games all the time, but when I'm looking for something like that, I really, really like that.
When I played Nier Automata.
Yeah, exactly. This is a little more a little darker than that, but that is exactly what I'm talking about. That kind of like, you know, you're kind of exploring this world that is a little dangerous, a little desolate, and you're making your way through. It's very traditional. The combat is turn-based. You're basically, I think somebody said that it's Pokemon for psychopaths, but in a good way. And I think that's a really good descriptor. There have been, so coming in this game after having played all the newer Persona games and Shin Megami Tensei 4 on the 3DS, there is some quality of life stuff that they did not update. So in the old, so you play Persona, right? So you know, once you discover, like this game is, the combat is all about using enemies' weaknesses against them. So like, you know, your ice attack will do certain damage to some people will absorb it, whatever.
Are you hearing my dog snore?
No.
Okay.
Can't hear it.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So in this game, you're like, it does not, so in Shin Megami Tensei 4 or Persona 3 or 4 or 5, once you figure out that ability, it'll tell you that from now on, like if that ability like does extra damage,
yeah,
or
it's like
do any damage,
fire, exactly, electricity, or whatever.
This game,
and that's so good. That's the part I love about Persona.
Me too. And this game does not do that. So once you have unlocked the weakness, you have to remember it in your head, which there's not a ton of enemy variety, at least so far. I'm probably about 15, 20 hours into the game. There's not like a ton of enemy variety so far. So it's not that big of a problem, but it is something that you notice if you've played the other games a bunch. And I think that's something people should be aware of when they're going into this game. And there's a couple other quality of life stuff like that.
But that's why they call it a remaster and not a remake.
100%, yes. And I think I would rather them do that than go in the other direction and fuck up, like make it a little too easy, or, you know, fuck up what people really like about this. I think that's probably the way to do it, for sure.
Yeah. So just in general, like JRPGs have come a long way since Shin Megami Tensei 3. You got games like, obviously Persona, but then Octopath Traveler, which is one of my favorite JRPGs of the last 10 years.
Right.
It does the same thing, where as soon as you find that enemy's weakness, then it shows it on screen for the entire battle.
Yeah, it has like the little bars underneath the enemy, right? That shows you what they're weak to, which is super brilliant.
Yeah, the way Octopath does that is phenomenal. Like, they actually, like, if they say it has 4 weaknesses, there will be 4 boxes underneath it, and they stay blurred until you do that
figure it out
style of attack on it, and then after that, it shows it every time you come across that enemy in the future. Every weakness that you've exposed on that enemy, every time you face that enemy from then on, it shows what it's weak to.
So I think
there are also skills in that game for the, I want to say the dancer, Primrose. I think she has one. It's either her or Therium the Thief. I can't remember. Or it might be the Apothecary. I can't remember. One of them has an ability that can shows you what the enemy's weaknesses are. So if you like
analyze.
The analyze ability. And if you power it up to like the pew pew pew, like 4th level or whatever, then you do that, and it actually will highlight and expose 4 weaknesses on.
Oh, that's cool.
And like, if you do that on a boss, like first round, like you immediately have all the bosses' weaknesses. So like that helps you out in that battle tremendously. And like, that is so smart and such a great quality of life improvement over all JRPGs. Everyone should do it. Let's go.
I think so Octopath has one of the best. So there's been a trend in JRPGs recently to get away from the turn-based battle system. If you look at your Final Fantasy VII remake, which is like a completely different battle style than the original Final Fantasy VII, there's a trend to get away to a more action-oriented space, right? Like, everyone is trying to do immersive style things, and it really isn't immersive to stand there, take damage, then do your thing. But Octopath has an absolutely amazing combat system that I think makes it where it makes turn-based battles in JRPGs viable for the current generation. Like it is a very satisfying system, and the sound of the pew 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 sounds that you were just talking about, like that is
like
so satisfying when you pull that off.
Not only the sounds, but like the way the
screen like
animations and all the particles and colors change. And Octopath Traveler is an awesome game.
Very good.
I haven't beaten it. I've probably put 80 hours into it.
Yeah, it's a very long game.
But it's a really, really, really good game, and I keep trying to go back to it and keep eventually falling off.
Yeah,
because I always start over because I like the story, and so I always start over, and then I get to around like chapter 4. Chapter 4 is generally about where I fall off.
Yeah, I think you should just keep going from there. Like don't restart it, because those stories are kind of independent anyway. Like you can kind of enjoy 100%. Them on your own.
That's one thing that makes no sense with that game, is why these people are all together.
Yeah, I think they came to they were like, we have 8 really good stories we want to tell, and let's just get these guys together. Who cares why they're hanging out?
We'll just call it Octopath.
Yeah, 8, right? We're good.
Octopath, there it is.
But back to Shin Megami, I think that if you're used to playing those types of JRPGs, especially stuff that's come a long way in recent memory, it is kind of hard to go back to this. But the story and the character, the writing. Oh, there's a new translation in this, so it's a brand new script. So the people like us who have played the PS2 version, completely, it feels like a new game because of how good the dialogue is now, how good the writing is. I had no idea what the hell was going on the first time I played this game, and now I'm like, I think I just got to the part where I fell off the first time I played it. And I can tell you that my experience with it now is completely different. Like I actually know what's going on, and the story makes a lot of sense.
What's different about that? You said they changed the writing?
So it's a new translation.
Oh, okay. I didn't know they did that.
Yeah. So it's a brand new. You probably remember back in the late 90s, early 2000s, when Japanese games would come over here. Oftentimes the translations would range from okay to flat out fucking terrible. Final Fantasy VII, speaking of, has a pretty bad translation if you play the original PlayStation game. I mean, for its time, it got the story across, but like I recently replayed it. I think you recently replayed it too before 7 came out, or the remake came out. I played through the whole damn thing again. There are times when a character speaks and you're like, what are you talking about? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Why are you saying that?
what are you
responding to?
And so a lot of the JRPGs from that era have really bad translations, and this one, it is so rich. The character development is so good. The way that they get you into the world immediately is really, really good, and it's all due to the writing. They definitely have Atlas has done a really smart job with the way they've redone the entirety, top to bottom, all the work on that translation they've done.
I know absolutely nothing other than what you told me about Shin Megami Tensei, but I have seen the guy with like the tribal, like cyberpunk looking tattoos on his
glowing
body.
Tattoos. Yeah,
he looks really cool. Is he the protagonist?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's your character. So this is not a spoiler because it's the first 30 seconds of the game. You basically, the world ends and you are selected to be the person who remakes it, and you kind of, based on the decisions you make and who you align yourself with, the different characters, the world will be remade in whatever image you choose to do. And so you're basically reborn as a demon, and that's why you have the cool tattoos that are glowing and stuff. And I will say that this guy has this incredible power stance. The way that he just stands in a room looks so cool. It's very dope. It's the exact same stance that he had in the original game, but there's something about the way that he moves that is very satisfying, and it looks super, super cool, especially with all the glowing neon tattoos and stuff. And that also contributes to the overall like atmosphere that I was talking about, where there's just all kinds of different like neon but it's all dark, like a dark neon. It is cyberpunky, like you said. I really dig the way that this game looks.
Does he wear a shirt?
No. He does have pants on though. He's basically the Hulk, but way skinnier.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. So let's see. What you got? Anything else about Shimigami, or is that?
That's basically that and Apex and Mass Effect have all I've been playing.
Yeah, we did play some Apex. I've been doing real bad lately with Apex.
I have been sucking, dude. I don't know what.
I don't know what's going on. I think it might be because we're playing with Rich too much, and he's always way higher ranked than we are, and so I think it match makes you with the highest ranked person in your party, which is always Rich, and we go against squads that are just way better than us.
So let's go ahead and get into the Apex minute of the show. How do you feel about the new event? What do they call it? The collection event. Yeah, the arenas event. How do you feel about that?
I like it. I also really like the new arena map.
Which one's the new one?
They brought in thermal.
Oh yeah. It's super cool. Yes.
Yeah, that's my new favorite arena map. Like we win on that one.
That's why you like it.
Yeah, so I like it.
I wish they would get rid of I feel like every time I play, we're on that damn basically the open world, the foresty one.
The field with the portal.
With the portals. Yeah, that map, not my favorite.
Really bad at that one.
I'm really pretty bad at it. I would much rather see the Mirage one or the thermal one that you're talking about. The thermal map is super smartly designed. And I think the Mirage one is super smartly designed too. And I think those are the reason those two maps are my favorites.
And they took away, I don't know if they actually took it away, but I haven't seen it in rotation at all. The one that's at the artillery.
Yeah, I haven't seen that either. They must have replaced that with the thermal one for whatever reason.
I wonder if they're balancing it or something.
Maybe. I feel like people thought they figured out the meta. Like the original idea was like, hey, let's just run to that top area. Right?
Everybody goes to that top side. So that's probably what they're probably changing something up there.
But you can really like counter that if you know what you're doing. And I think we've done it.
Because there's those hallways. There's the hallways in the backside that you can run up, and so yeah, there's ways to counter it. But I think that the battle always was there.
And
so like there's a whole other side of that map that has those silos and boxes and stuff that just nobody ever goes to.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that might be why they pulled that one and brought in the new one.
I could see that
because with the thermal, really. It's completely symmetrical, like 4 ways.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and there's the center point. So teams are going to go in a million different directions off the rip there. So I think that might be, oh shit. I almost knocked over my computer there.
10.2 is hitting.
Like I said, that, that freaking lunch tray that I'm recording on is kind of,
unstable,
flimsy there, but yeah, so you can go from any direction.
Yeah, that's the same way the Mirage map is too. It's got so many different areas you can go to, and you would think like immediately everyone wants to go to the Mirage Voyage section, but a lot of times the battle goes to the where the 3 different tiers are, right? And I think that's such a smart design where the battle can basically go anywhere, unlike the artillery map where you're always in that one spot, and that open field map where you're always at the portals. I've never seen a match not into the portals unless the ring like pushes you away from it. Like you're almost never in that open field area, and I don't think I've ever seen anyone fight on the other side that's away from the portals.
Oh, I fight over there a good bit.
I guess you do, but you're never really.
I fight over there good because like usually what ends up happening is one team will go up by 2 off the rip,
and then everyone starts going the other side. Yeah,
you're right. Let's go the other way.
You're right.
So then you go the other way, and they fight on the other side, and maybe you win there. But dude, speaking of Apex, Amy got me a birthday present, and she was like, "Ooh, I'll get this on Etsy. It's really neat." So for audio listeners, just bear with me for a second.
Oh, cool! Nice. That's awesome.
It's a 3D printed shield cell.
That's so cool.
Yeah, and she thought she was like, she paid $20 for this, dude.
Oh, damn. I mean, it's like, handcrafted.
It's not. It's 3D printed.
Well, it's okay.
It's
individually
made. But she was like, I thought it was going to be so much bigger. She was like, it came in the mail.
She was expecting it to be like a life size battery cell.
She was expecting like a cell like that probably,
and it's more like a keychain. It's a Chotsky.
It's cool though.
It is cool. It's really nice design.
It's the right size for
my man, Bloodhound.
It's like the perfect size.
Why is he in such an awkward pose?
He's T-posing.
They just want you to see that he can articulate. So they're like, here, this is like let's do the wide stance.
Yeah. he's just in your face. I want to collect all those.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun. I just saw they released a new one, and I think it was a Loba.
Oh, I might order one after we get off
should
here.
be fun.
Actually,
you wanna take a quick break since we're wrapped up with
let's take a break
with the what you've been playing part.
Yeah, let's do that. We'll be back in just a minute. I'm gonna go grab another beer,
Same.
and we will be right back. So yeah, I'm gonna go. All right, that went much better than last time.
Oh yeah, sticking to cans.
Opened it up on the first try. Welcome back to Gaming and Drinking. I am now drinking. So, R.I.P. Brew Bus. I got a 32-ounce beer here, 32-ounce crowler that they canned for me there at the brewery.
Nice.
It's called Layin' Nice, and this. Let me pull up my profile real quick. It is a pastry sour with cherry, coconut, lime, kiwi, and pineapple.
Ooh,
dude, it is so flippin' delicious. I had this while I was at the brewery the other day. I was like, we got two of these giant crowlers.
Nice.
As our little goodbye to Brew Bus. Well, I say goodbye to Brew Bus, but goodbye to their brick and
mortar establishment.
Oh, I'm spilling. Dude, what is wrong with me today?
I think I have an idea.
You're probably right.
I am drinking. We talked about it earlier. Untitled Art.
Yeah, they're awesome, dude. Their bottles are so cool looking, and their cans.
Yes. So this is a double imperial strawberry smoothie. It is
okay.
Berliner Weiss, brewed with strawberry, lemon, and passion fruit. It is an 8% beer. This motherfucker came out thick. Look at that.
Oh yeah. Dude, that is like not even hazy. That is like
This is
cloudy.
This is an actual smoothie, I think. It smells amazing. I have not tried this yet.
Look at how pretty this one is.
Oh yeah.
And Beer Frog, by the way, this is the glass I'm drinking out of. Beer Frog is my local little craft store.
Oh, cool.
That I go to all the time.
Very nice.
Let's give this a little tasty taste.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh God, that is so good.
Oof.
Yay, nay.
I don't know about that one. It tastes like a smoothie. They're not lying. That might. I might have to switch to something else.
Okay.
I'm gonna get it down though. No, I don't waste beer. I'm gonna drink it. It is.
Don't you dare waste an Untitled Art beer.
They did not lie about what this was. I can say that. I think I was looking for more of a sour, and this is definitely more of a smoothie. But that's
got
okay.
a lot of lactose.
I mean, this thing is damn near just a fucking glass of milk. So,
all right. So yeah, that's what we're drinking now, guys. And if you've got any suggestions on anything you would like to see us drink, let me know. gaminganddrinking@gmail.com. But anyways, so now we're kind of gonna go through just some topics that we saw through the week. First one, let's start it off light. I saw a video the other day of Mark Zuckerberg playing Beat Saber.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that?
I did.
And did you see that, like, his daughter, he like said something like, Max doesn't think this is my job.
Oh yeah. It's like, this is what I do for work or something like that.
Yeah. He's like, Max doesn't believe me that this is my job.
Well, it's because Facebook owns Oculus, and he was playing on an Oculus headset.
He was playing on a Quest.
He was pretty good.
He was nasty, dude. I was like, all right, I'll play against the Zuck.
If you're the company that owns the headset, you should probably be pretty good at that. But plus, like, what else is Zuckerberg doing all day? Like, I don't know. What is the head of Facebook do?
He's at the point now where he delegates everything.
Yeah, like what does his day-to-day job look like? I can't.
He wakes up, he puts on the same t-shirt and pants.
Yes,
and then plays
the black t-shirt and the he's basically going for the what's the Apple CEO, the one that died, Steve Jobs. He's going for Steve Jobs, except without a turtleneck. It's just a regular black t-shirt.
Yeah. No, if I had to guess what his day is like, it's like wake up, put on t-shirt,
swim in money like Scrooge McDuck,
eat delicious breakfast made by my home chef.
Right. My live-in home chef.
Tell someone, hey, I want this to do that. Do it. And then go, swim in.
That's probably how the quest came about. He was like, you know what? VR is cool, but what if we just cut out all the headsets? And they're like, Mark, that's going to cost a lot of money. And he's like, done. I don't care.
I don't care.
We've got just do
Facebook. Do it. Yeah, so that's what his day. So yeah, he's good at Beat Saber, and then later on he posts, but he's kind of clever and funny, dude. He's gotten more witty ever since like the whole like everybody hates Facebook because they steal all of our information.
Yeah.
He's kind of like lightened up his PR stance a lot. And
he doesn't want Facebook to be seen as the bad guys anymore.
Yeah. So he's a lot more public facing than he used to be. And later on, he said, well, one reason she probably thinks that this isn't my job is my daughter Max also thinks that computers are just big iPads with buttons. Can you imagine growing up being a kid these days though, and like seeing like going, because obviously like so many parents nowadays just give their kids a fucking iPad, like just hand it take my old iPhone, infant, take this iPad and don't be stupid. So like going from like that being like your infant brain to seeing a computer with buttons on it, it's like this is
well, stupid. I mean, if you think about it, like I remember growing up and like my parents got an Acer and it was like the first home computer, but my uncle had one when I was really young, but it was like an old IBM.
Yeah, my parents had the old IBM as well. We played Wolfenstein on it.
Right. And like going from like pen and paper to that, like that was a mind-blowing leap. So I think this is kind of the same thing. It's all generational, right? So it's just, we're learning on different things at different points. And, seeing something with buttons for the first time is probably weird, but it's also not like when you're in college, when that girl gets to college or probably even high school, all her paper is going to be written on a keyboard. Like she's going to interact with buttons at some point.
I mean, she's like 4 or 5, something. Right. I don't know. She's a kid.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say, I'm fine with kids getting introduced to all this tech. One thing I will say, kids still need to learn cursive, damn it.
That's your hill.
That is my hill that I'm going to die on. Kids need to learn cursive.
Is there a specific reason why you think that, or you just
because it's a classical, like, I don't know. I feel like it's more expressive of your individuality than writing in
nobody writes anymore, period. So
I write in cursive.
No, but nobody writes at all, but dot.
I write.
You use pen and paper and write?
You know what, dude? We're about to get into a little bit of Adam's soul a little bit. Adam likes to write some poems from time to time. Oh, and guess what?
Wow,
I write in cursive.
No wonder you're bringing like your own little stuff into it. That's why you want people to write cursive. Like, I do this. People should do this.
Yes, I do this. That means everyone else should. And everyone that doesn't is wrong.
Right. I can understand that. I don't ever, if I can help it, write anything. I type everything that I possibly can because it's way faster and
it is way faster,
more economical. But listen, there's an art form to it. I get it from an aesthetic point of view. I get why you'd want to write in cursive. I personally don't.
And also,
really care,
I just want kids to be able to read cursive. Like, there's
you
so
can
much
still
stuff.
read cursive. Like, you can use context to figure out those letters that might be a little weird.
You can.
I'm
there are a lot of people that can't.
Yeah, but those people probably can't read, like, period. So
I think you just ostracized like a large group of our potential audience.
Oh, that's fine, because if you can't
we love you. If you can't read cursive, we love you too.
Yeah, you can still listen to us if you can't read cursive. Listen, I'm not the one who thinks that they should be pounding it into kids' heads at the youngest age they possibly can. So teach cursive. Fuck everything else. I don't care about math. Math, fuck that. Cursive.
Fuck math. Amy's taking physics right now, and it is a nightmare. It is a living nightmare that luckily I can escape from, but she can't.
One thing I really don't understand about the way that they there's always the memes that are like, I know the Pythagorean theorem, but I never learned how to do my taxes or whatever. I think that's kind of bullshit. But I do think like they should teach you how to do some like where's the home ec class that teaches you how to like balance a checkbook, or I guess you don't even have to balance a checkbook anymore. You just look online.
Balance a checkbook.
But like, where's the simple life stuff? Like, I don't need to know how to like.
Here's what the tax code is.
Right, exactly.
Like, or here's what you're going to be paying in taxes next year.
Or like if you like, a lot of people didn't even know when the stimulus checks came out and stuff on unemployment during the pandemic that you're gonna have to pay taxes on that stuff. And I'm like, why are we learning like algebra in middle school instead of something like that, which is this is how taxes work in America. If you get money from the government, you're going to have to pay taxes on it. Like, why are we not learning that kind of stuff in school? And that's probably a different show, but
yeah, that's a different thing. But I do actually use geometry on a daily basis.
Well, yeah, that's your field. So like roofing. I can see that. But like if you're in like, I don't use geometry on a daily basis, but I do, however, use like an iPad every day. And I think that kind of like a tech class should probably be taught in school. I mean, most kids are going to pick that stuff up naturally anyway, just from interacting with it.
And I mean, I don't know what the curriculum is nowadays. I'm sure that there's some kind of tech classes out there.
I saw my niece doing whatever the new Common Core math thing is. Have you seen that shit?
I have. It's intriguing.
I don't think it's intriguing. I think it doesn't make any sense. Like, I'm like,
it makes sense. I mean,
I'm sure it does. Like, but I'm a pretty smart dude, and I look at that sometimes and I'm like, why did they change this? What was wrong with the old way?
I understand what they're doing with it, and it's like it's getting you ready for harder math down the road. But who says that you're going to be doing harder math down the road? Like this other way of doing math has worked. But dude, we are looking like old fogies. Let's get off of this. We are now this Common Core math. What the fuck is that?
Back in my day, I tell you what, these whippersnappers nowadays, they don't know nothing about nothing.
Them home ec classes, all you need to learn how to do is cook muffins and drill holes. That's all you need.
Cook muffin. What about? Okay, I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
Bake muffins. Whatever. You cook the muffins in the oven with the bake.
Why are you drilling holes while you're also cooking muffins?
That's the wood shop class.
That's a different class than home ec.
It was like guys went to wood shop, girls went to home ec.
I don't know.
That's how it was, dude. That is so how that went.
I took home ec and wood shop, so.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about a little older than us, like
our parents' age,
the 80s, 70s, yeah. Anyways, all right, so.
Yeah, so back to the game. So
Mark Zuckerberg is good at Beat Saber.
There were a lot of so we're in the lead up to E3, and there has been a lot of reveals in the past couple of weeks.
Yep.
Starting with, did they reveal this week? The Pokemon thing?
Yeah.
So I am not a Pokemon guy. I don't know. I've never played a Pokemon game in my life.
I'm a big Pokemon fan.
This is a remake of from what I understand, the first DS games, right? Which were incredibly popular.
Yeah, and I actually did not have DS. My last Game Boy before I bought the 3DS was the Game Boy Color, and I played Leaf Green and Fire Red were the last ones that I played, and so I never got onto Diamond and Pearl.
So you've never played these games?
No, and I'm super
stoked. So tell the people what this is. This is a remake of
so it's a remake of Diamond and Pearl. They're called Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and they are literally the exact same game. They've updated the graphics, so it looks more like the
new 3DS versions, right?
But it's still the exact same gameplay. Still has the isometric camera. Still has the same
not the behind the bag that we've seen in the new Pokemon.
Not Sword and Shield style. It's more X and Y style.
That's probably smart though, because if you're gonna remake a game like that, you probably wanted to at least play like the original game,
Yeah, and I'm really excited about it. Like I miss that. There's like a gap, a Pokemon gap in my life that I am excited to go back.
You got to fill that.
That gap, dude.
Got to fill the Poke hole.
Oh. Yeah, got to fill that Poke hole. If you don't fill your Poke hole, then what are you doing? What are you doing with your life?
You got to pay the toll to fill that Poke hole.
Yep. So that Poke hole is about to get filled by this Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl.
That's why you took all those drill and hole classes.
Exactly. Got to bake the muffins for the Clefairies. But you've
never played these games.
I haven't.
do you want a more traditional Pokemon since we got the Sword and Shield?
Yeah,
like the newer...
dude, I'm all about the old traditional Pokemon, man. I still go back and play Leaf Green from time to time.
Cool. So I have never played a Pokemon game. Do you think this would be a good place for me to jump? Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it would. I think this would be the perfect place for you to jump on, actually, because it's kind of that cross between you got that old school style, but the newer
graphics.
feel, new graphics. It's also got a wider breadth of Pokemon in it, I think, than the original.
Are they doing like the 128 or are they doing beyond that?
You mean 151?
151. I don't know anything about Pokemon.
I don't know. I think it's I want to say it's like 300 or something like that. Okay. I could be wrong on that. Like I said, this is new territory for me.
Did they say anything about the quality of life stuff? Because I imagine
they did. I mean, I didn't watch. I don't know if there was anything beyond the trailer, but all I watched was the trailer. It was like a 2-minute and 20-second trailer, and all they did was like show the old game. And then it was like crossfade, and here's the new game. Right. Here's what it's going to look like Nintendo always does with this stuff.
So no idea if they're doing like an update to not necessarily how the game plays, but like just quality of life stuff. I'm sure they are.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think as far as those games go, the quality of life stuff has always been good. With Pokemon.
I
think so.
I've seen people play Pokemon before, and some of those games are hard to go back to. I can tell you from just watching emulated versions of them, they can be a little impenetrating sometimes with as far as like the way that the movement is and like how slow the battles can be sometimes. That's more what I mean by quality of life stuff. Not necessarily.
Okay, that's Pokemon. That even persists through today's Pokemon.
Like the slow battles and stuff.
Yeah, the X and Y, or not X and Y. Sword and Shield still has that same kind of slow battle system and in that classic JRPG battle system.
Gotcha.
And that's going to be Pokemon. At least the traditional games. That's probably going to be until the end of time, if I had to guess.
I wonder if they'll ever pivot to like a more action-based combat system, or if they're going to stay.
I hope not, but maybe that's just me, like being my nostalgic old ass is just like, keep it the same.
Right.
Teach the kids cursive.
Yep. You nailed it. I don't think you can really, because what I feel like would happen is they would announce, there's two ways it could go, right? It could be stick with the traditional. That's what people want. And if you announce the other way, people are going to riot, or they do what Yakuza Like a Dragon did, and they announce a new combat system and people will just absolutely love it.
Well, I mean, they did that with like Let's Go. So like Let's Go Eevee and that's actually a good pivot into other game.
I thought that Let's Go was just a straight remake.
No, not at all.
Okay.
It's in the same region, but the capturing and the battling of wild Pokemon is entirely different.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I didn't even know that.
So instead of battling wild Pokemon, it's more like they took the Pokemon Go formula, and you like basically you can like, instead of just like a random battle happening in Let's Go, you'll actually see the Pokemon running around, and you can throw them berries, and that will take down their defense and make them more susceptible to being caught. And then you just throw a ball at them. Gotcha. And then you catch them, and that's it. And then the only battles you do are with trainers and gym leaders, and that is more like the traditional Pokemon battle system. But as far as Pokemon in the wild, it's a completely different thing.
Gotcha.
And I think that's actually a good pivot into this other game they announced, which is Pokemon Legends Arceus, which Arceus is one of the legendary Pokemon from the Sinnoh region. And that is coming out January 28th. From what I saw, again, it was just a really short trailer, but it looked pretty cool. I mean, it looked like a very Let's Go style scenario. Like you're sneaking around in the grass, you see the Pokemon out in the distance, you throw the ball at them. It's still an RPG. It's not like a different type of gameplay or anything. It's more like the Let's Go, like I was just telling you about, with the berries and the throwing the ball instead of finding in regular Pokemon, you go and you have these random battles, and it'll be like, wild Pidgey appeared or whatever, and then you battle it, weaken it, and throw a ball at it.
Right.
And
That's
this one,
it's very
instead of
Dragon
battling
Quest,
it-
and this is more
Yes.
like stuff appears on the menu or the map, and you get to choose if you want to engage it or whatnot.
Exactly. And
That's
so
cool.
this Arceus game looks a lot more like that. And I think it's actually set back in time, like in like some kind of ancient time where Arceus is like actually like out and about doing shit.
So like more like feudal Japan or something like that.
It's not feudal, but like they did just in the very beginning of the trailer, it's like my grandfather told me of this ancient story of
You got
this Pokemon.
Adam voice acting going on. Let's get into it. Give us your
Pokemon.
impression.
There was a guy that told me some
It's
stuff
brilliant.
about this Pokemon named Arceus. And then
Now
it's
I'm
like
going to find him.
So yeah, it looks like Let's Go, like another Let's Go game.
Cool.
And so that's going to be fun, I think. But dude, it kind of looked like you say that I don't notice when games run like shit.
Mhm.
Even in this trailer.
Ooh, that's not good.
Even in this trailer, like there were hitches on the Pokemon that were like popping around, like bopping around on the screen. Like it was like the environments were all going at a higher frame rate than the Pokemon bouncing around on the screen were.
I
And
feel like that's been
really
a big,
jarring.
That's been a big problem with the Switch lately, is that the tech just can't keep up with the games they're designing. People are designing for. You know what I mean? Like I feel like there's like the games are like Hyrule Warriors, the new one, the Calamity one. Like I played the demo for that, and there were times when that game just could not handle what was happening on the screen. And that seems to be a problem that Nintendo is just not really caring about. They
don't care. They're selling millions of. They're dominating the market, so they don't really give a shit.
It's like that Link's Awakening remake. Like that thing is a great game and looks incredible, but man, there are times when that thing goes to like 12 frames a second. Like
that makes me sad. I need to play that. I haven't played that.
It's so good. So this isn't on the list, but did you see the leak of the rumored Switch Pro?
I've heard a ton about it. I haven't seen any leaked images. Are there images?
It's not an image. No. So this was a Bloomberg. Jason Schreier was reporting, so it's legit. Basically, it was there's a new. They're not calling it the Switch Pro or anything. What I gathered, and I could be wrong about this, but what I gathered is it's going to replace the regular model of Switch, and I think it might come out more expensive. But basically, it would just like wipe out the old one, and this is the new one. So kind of like when you remember
like
when
the new 3DS,
exactly 100% like the new 3DS. And I don't know what the bump they're speculating, but they don't really know what the bump in like tech, like as far as hardware would be.
I mean, there's going to be an OLED screen. I know that much.
Right. Yes. Yeah. So
going to be a better battery. Going to be a smaller bezel.
Yes. Yeah. So larger screen overall, smaller bezel, which contributes to the larger screen. OLED, which will look really good. But what I think the most interesting thing about this would be what is powering that hardware? Like what kind of specs do we have? Are these games going to run better? Can you get Link's Awakening to run at 60 frames or something like that? I doubt it, but that'd be super nice, right? Like that's what I want to see.
I'm about to offend a lot of people.
Uh-oh. Wow. He did it.
Can you hear that?
Yes. Yep.
I'm hungry, man.
This isn't ASMR, bro. You can't just be eating chips on the fucking. What are you doing here?
They're sitting right here. They're Cape Cod.
Then kick them across. Get Ham to pick them up and take them across the thing.
Oh man. Oh, they're so good. All right, I gotta close this up. Before I just like munch this entire bag down.
I thought when you said I'm going to offend a bunch of people, I thought you were going to say, I don't care about how the Switch runs. I want my Pokemon games. I don't really whatever.
No, I'm getting hungry.
Is
it lunchtime? It's past
way
lunchtime.
Past lunchtime. I haven't eaten any lunch either. But
I haven't eaten any lunch, man. But anyways, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
You're down sure. But I do think this is so with the Switch, coming up on its
fifth,
2017. Yeah, fourth. It's only been 4 years. It feels like it's been a lot longer than that, but that's because time doesn't mean anything anymore.
And there's also been so many good games on it.
True. Let's pivot from that into the new the other thing that was revealed this week, which is the Horizon Zero Dawn. Now, my time with Horizon, I very much enjoyed the first game. It was a really fun, well polished game, but big problem with Horizon isn't even a fault of the game itself. It just happened to come out at the exact same time as Breath of the Wild.
They shot themselves in the foot with that, dude.
And I really liked Horizon Zero Dawn, and I did not finish it because I played the absolute shit out of Breath of the Wild, and it was really hard to go from Breath of the Wild back into Horizon Zero Dawn after you've been playing that kind of open world. And from what it looks like, this gameplay reveal that they just did, we're getting a little bit of Breath of the Wild in Horizon Zero Dawn. So tell me how you feel about that.
I am super stoked, man. I played Horizon Zero Dawn. I beat it like right when it came out. Ran around, tried to fill out the whole map, doing all that fun stuff. Got all the giant, I can't remember what they called, like the giant walkers with the long necks.
The Triceratops looking thing, or Brachiosaurus looking,
like
things.
The giraffe looking things. Yeah, those are fun. I did all those. Like I really played a lot of that game when it first came out.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever play the DLC?
Did not play Frozen Wilds. I really wanted to, but I just never got around to it.
Gotcha.
But this game looks like more better Horizon.
So I initially it looked like it was a lot of the same, but I feel like when they dug into it,
you got a grappling hook.
You have
a grappling hook. You got a
paraglider. I mean,
dude, that is the most rip off
Breath of the Wild. But I mean, honestly, like I don't want to play an open world game anymore unless I have a paraglider. Like it is so satisfying in Breath of the Wild to jump from a super high point and just go wherever the hell you want because you've got this paraglider. And I think adding that to Horizon Zero or Horizon Forbidden West is a great move.
It looks, and I mean, the combat in Horizon has always been like the highest point for me.
Yeah, it's Horizon. Really good.
Just with the variety of weapons and tools at your disposal to not even just fight, but also move around.
Yeah, the movement the running around feels really good.
The running around's great in Horizon, and it looks like the running around's about to be even better, man. Like that grappling hook is so cool. Like I could not get over that grappling hook.
This is the year of grappling hooks between the new Monster Hunter and all these.
Yeah, no kidding.
I think
they called it a pull cross,
That's a cool name for something.
Which makes more sense for the way it looked because it wasn't like she was grappling up and like shooting up. She was like grappling straight across from herself.
Right,
pulling herself on completely straight across, and then just like
slingshotting herself,
slamming her feet into the wall and grabbing. And
I wonder if it's going to work like the grappling hook in Titanfall / Apex, like where you can basically Spider-Man your way around, or if it's going to be more fixed.
I think it's more a fit. You grapple to that point wherever your grapple lands. That's where you're going to shoot yourself to. So it's called a pull cross, not a grapple
slingshot.
Yeah.
I wonder because with these types of games, one of the best. Think about Breath of the Wild. One of the best parts about Breath of the Wild was breaking the game in ways that maybe it wasn't designed to be. I kind of hope that Horizon gets a little bit more of that in its DNA. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be able to play this game in a way that maybe the developers didn't. They definitely thought about it. Maybe they didn't, anticipate. I'd love to just be able to slingshot Aloy, 100 fucking feet across the map somewhere.
Yeah,
like
I don't think that's going to be the case though.
Okay.
I hate to burst your bubble, but I don't think that's going to be what they're going to do. One thing that I think would be really cool is if you just. So one thing you could do in the last game, but they kind of added to it in this one, you can overtake, like kind of hack into the machine,
different
take them
dinosaurs
over.
And stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And so in this one, you can actually hack into the raptors and ride them around like horses.
And which is you could do that in the last one, not with the raptors, but with the different beasts. So that's probably basically the same thing.
The more peaceful ones you can do that with. But this one, it's like it looks like you can actually use your beast to attack with.
Attack stuff, yeah.
And so one way I think you might be able to break the game, what if you could like just hack into like an entire herd of raptors and have them riding around with you and attacking like the enemies?
It's like the what was the orc game? Shadow of War, when you just like march up with like 100 controlled, orcs behind you and just march into a campground and like that stuff is super fun and exciting. I do hope that they get a little bit of that kind of creativity in there.
You think they'll ever make another Shadow game?
I hope so. I didn't like the second one very much, but the first one I think is brilliant. I think
it was such a cool concept.
The problem with the second one was they just went too big. Like
I never even played it.
It was way too. It was more of the same and way too like much of the same. There was a lot of micromanagement. That's the problem with the second one that I didn't like, because the first one was like, you're taking down this dude, and it's kind of like a seamless thing. This one was like, to take down this guy, you need like 70 of these motherfuckers behind you, and then you need to go, after you beat his camp, take those people from that camp, go to the other camp, use those orcs against those orcs, and it was just a little too much. I hope they simplify it and go back to a little more of the original game as opposed to the second one.
Yeah.
But so what when you watch this reveal, what got your juices flowing the most?
Well, I think the grapple and the glider, 100%.
So movement stuff.
Just because the movement in that game always felt so fun, and the fact that there's more verticality to it, I think adds a whole nother dynamic to the movement that is going to make it really exciting.
Yeah.
And just from looking at the environments, it made me want to get a PS5 even more. Like looking at I watched it in 4K on my TV, the trailer, and holy crap, dude! Like those environments just look incredible, and the way that it loads in between cutscene and gameplay just completely seamlessly. I mean, obviously there's a camera cut because it's not God of War, right. But the way it loads seamlessly like that is freaking awesome. Yeah. And then one other thing that kind of got me excited was when she swims underwater and she's got that mask that she can breathe underwater.
The rebreather.
Yeah. And then there's that giant, like megalodon looking, like swimmy thing swims by her. And that was really cool. That got me excited because the water in this thing looked amazing. Like I love water tech in games, like good water tech. Give me
the best. What's your best water? I want you.
Give me the best water. I want.
Can you light it on fire? Even better.
Yeah. So that got me excited, especially as someone that loves to like scuba dive and be in the ocean. Like that got me really excited.
So I think the way that for me, it's going to come down to the map and how varied the environments are, because one thing that I think the original Horizon kind of suffered from was every area looked different, but like every area generally looked the same. It kind of looked like a rainforest, very lush, very tropical.
Till you get to the frozen wilds.
Yeah, but even the frozen wild stuff, it just looked like that, but with snow on it. Because you kind of go at the very beginning, because I just restarted the game when they did the complete collection on PS Plus. You go to that like snowy part right at the very beginning, and it looks a little different, but it still looks like that, tundra, but with some snow on it. So my hope for this game is that they really step up because you think, again, take it back to Breath of the Wild, each biome in that world looks so different from every other biome, right? Like every single part of Breath of the Wild, if you're in the Gorgon area, if you're in the Zora area, if you're in the the Grudo.
Everything is stylistically unique.
Very, very. That game is super stylish, and Horizon is stylish too. But in a I get they're going for a more realistic thing, so each tribe it looks different. Like you definitely know when you're like with the Noras versus like whatever some of those other tribes are called, but they still look pretty similar. And I hope that they bring a little more of the fantastical, you know what I mean? Like maybe a little more future armor, because like this game's whole conceit is that this is set like, way in the future, to the point
it's 1,000 years in the future. Yeah.
And on the moon or something like that. I don't know.
No, it's on Earth. It's on Earth because it definitely on Earth. In fact, this trailer takes place in San Francisco.
Oh, okay. I thought there was something to do with the moon and the horizon, or I can't remember. It's been a while since I played it,
but no, it takes this trailer takes place in San Francisco. But then at the very end of this trailer, your friend Aaron actually, like, apparently, I think this whole conceit of him being captured was he was off trying to find some tech for Aloy, and he's like, she rescues Aaron, and then he's like, "Hey, I found the thing that you wanted me to find," and it's like this little like hard drive looking thing. And she presses the button, and the hologram pops up, and it's a map of the entire U.S.
Oh, okay, cool.
And there's little, and it's really cool that like, so on this map, it looks like some stuff has happened. Like just topographically, Florida's gone. California looks like it's California looks like it's kind of starting to split off. And there's also little blips all over the map. And what I thought in my brain is, I think this is where we're going to be going. I think we're going to be going to all these different places on this map.
All the blips that you see.
All the blips, and they go from coast to coast. And
cool. So it's kind of, they're more like The Last of Us. Then, right?
Yeah. And it's called Forbidden West. So, I mean,
did they ever say in the original that does it take place on the East Coast or something?
No,
that's what the implication would be, right? If this is the Forbidden West.
I can't remember what city it's. I want to say it was in like the Northwest was where the first one took place, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
So send us if we're wrong, send us a correction, gaminganddrinking@gmail.com, or tweet us at gaminganddrinking, or Instagram at gaminganddrinking, all that fun stuff. Let us know if we're wrong on that. I don't know. But yeah, that looked like a lot of fun. There was also there was a new enemy that they like. So the raiders now have figured out a way to ride around on these machines, kind of like Aloy can, but Aloy can because she has her magic little beacon. But now they figured out how to do it too, and they have what looks like a freaking like robot war elephant. That's like the boss. It
looks like something out of like Alexander, the movie.
Yeah, it looks really dope. It's got like cannons on its side. It's got enemies riding on top of it with arrows, and then it also has like a plasma cannon on the front of it that like shoots at the ground and causes like earthquakes to like shoot towards Aloy. But Aloy can like knock weapons. She can actually shoot the weapons off the side of the elephant and then take it and like use its own weapon against it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
I'll say
stuff.
I have figured out where the game takes place.
It
takes place in Colorado, Utah, sections of Arizona, and a small portion of Montana.
The first game.
Yes.
Okay. So it's kind of the West, but obviously she's had to go further west.
Because it's forbidden.
It's forbidden, and she did it anyways because
she's going to California. So there's probably going to be like what I imagine they'll do is like a Fallout type thing. So you know how in Fallout you kind of heard about the NCR, Northern California Rangers, before you ever met them. I imagine they're going to do like this society has to be completely different than the tribal stuff they have going on in the original Horizon. That's the only way they continue this kind of thing.
I mean, it's definitely different beasts to begin with. Like I didn't see any Watchers. Like Watchers were the most common thing in the first Horizon, and it seems like these raptor things have kind of taken the place of the Watcher things. They're the ones kind of poking around in all the bushes, seeing if you're chilling there, and then they have like this crazy like sound attack that like disables you for a minute.
Right.
And just they changed up some stuff, like different enemy types and stuff like that.
And so it sounds like they're going it's going to be more of the same but bigger and better. Like that seems to be the log line of this.
Super down with this, man. Like the textures and lighting look so good. Like particle effects,
all that
looked amazing. And I'm sure you know how much shit that Sony has talked about these fucking controllers and how like it's gonna make pulling a bowstring feel great.
Feel like a bow.
Like it like I assume that this is the game that they're talking about.
This is 100% the game that they developed that tech for.
It's gonna be adaptive controller overload in the best way, hopefully.
Yeah, I think so too. I think what they've been doing with the controller is super smart. I know you probably haven't had a chance to play too much of it, but
I haven't even seen a PS5 in person, dude.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think
over here and just twiddling my thumbs.
These kind of things what Sony likes to do is show piece games, right? Like your God of Wars and your Horizon Zero Dawns. When they get this kind of game to the point where they're about to ship it, like everything that they've been planning for this console, this is where that stuff comes to fruition, right? Like this is what this console was designed for, was to sell games like Horizon Forbidden West. And I think that's what we're going to see with this game is the triggers or the the controller stuff, the 4K, 60 textures, all that stuff. This is going to be the showpiece for the PS5 that we really haven't seen yet. I mean, like Demon's Souls looks really good and Returnal looks really good, but this is the game made for the masses, and it's going to be the one that
I'm hoping that they developed this for the PS5 and not with the PS4 in mind at all. That's what I really, really, really hope.
I feel like they probably, I mean, they definitely developed with the PS4 in mind because that's the bigger console right now. Like that's more copies out there. But like this, I bet they designed it for this and then they backloaded everything else. Like they had to like dress it down, take the textures out and do some.
Yeah,
other
I'm
stuff.
not gonna touch this game if I don't have a PS5. Like
I feel confident you'll have a PS5 by the time this thing comes out. Because the other thing we should say about this is at the end of that trailer, they did not reveal a release date.
No, they didn't, and I actually didn't even think about that until just now when you said that.
Yeah, so they didn't reveal a release date, and then they did a tweet.
I'm wondering if they might at E3.
So right afterwards, they did a tweet. The director of the game said, "We will have more. We didn't reveal a release date. We don't want to say anything yet, but we will reveal some more information very soon."
Okay.
So very soon to me says
E3.
E3. I don't. The thing though is that Sony has been very anti E3 for the past 2 years, so
it'll be same time frame though. They'll do it on their own terms, but it'll be same time.
Well, my question is, so I listened to another podcast, the Kind of Funny Games Daily, and Blessing was saying that he thinks they might be waiting on Nintendo to reveal when Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, so they don't come to the same the same
that makes a lot of sense actually. I hadn't even thought about that, because
but here's
Breath
my
of the Wild 2 with the new Switch could cause
the same
Breath
kind of
of the
thing
Wild 2
yeah,
Horizon 2 to come out at the same time.
But here's my thing.
Oh no.
I don't see. I think based on the gameplay footage that I saw from Horizon Forbidden West, that game looks like it could ship this year. I do not think there's any chance in hell that Breath of the Wild 2 ships this year. I would love for it to. I don't think that's happening.
With Breath of the Wild, though, like they had like a 6-month lead up to that game. Like it was like they announced it, and 6 months later it came out.
You're right, but I also think that they announced this game like 2 years ago at this point.
They've got the tech already. They've got
they're not building like a new engine or anything.
Like they've got a lot of that already. That initial groundwork already covered.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we'll see. I am curious to see if they're holding back, why they're holding back, because the game looks pretty far along.
I think they're holding back for the new system, the new Switch. I think it's going to release day and date with the new Switch, because
I meant
that
Horizon,
would be.
But
oh, okay. I'm sorry.
But yeah, you're right. I do think that they're. I don't. With Nintendo, there's no telling. I don't know why Nintendo does half the things they do, but I do think that there's definitely a reason that I think Breath of the Wild 2 would absolutely launch with the next version of the Switch. Like that, it worked so well for the original Switch and the original Breath of the Wild that it just makes a ton of sense to do the same thing all over again. And I know if you tell me that I can play that game at 60 frames, if I buy the new Switch, I'm plopping down $400 for that thing. You know what I mean? Like it's going to happen. So I think that would be super, super smart.
Could you imagine if they were like, hey, at their like treehouse or whatever they do at E3, if they're like, hey, Breath of the Wild and the new Switch are coming out, this holiday season. Also, boom, Mario Galaxy 2. Or not Mario Galaxy, fucking what's it called? Mario
Odyssey 2.
Mario Odyssey 2 Band-Aid as well.
That would be I mean, we're due for another Mario game for sure.
Yeah.
So I think that's 100% possible. I personally I thought Odyssey was pretty fucking brilliant. I would like to see Odyssey. I want to see them do a more. I think everyone's been saying that the Bowser's Fury thing from the Super Mario 3D World or Super Mario.
I've got that. I need to play that. I haven't played that yet. I'm playing that for next week.
Super Mario 3D World. So that open world thing they did, I think that's going to be where Mario goes next. So I am curious to see what they do with the next Mario. I think that'd be a really fun thing to do with it and go down some path.
Like open world, but also kind of bespoke levels within that open world.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's everyone seemed to love that new Bowser's Fury thing. So I think that's definitely where they're going with the next Mario. But if they do that, then I feel like they're going to have to, if Bowser's Fury was a test case, then they probably got a ways to go with the next one, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
For you audio listeners, Adam is filling up his glass with his Creo.
Dude, this beer is so big. It's the size of my head.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't mention this before.
You got a big ass head.
I do. Actually, with funny story about my giant head. I can't wear hats a lot of times. The hats with the snapback hats.
Yeah.
I have to wear those with one snap.
Uh-huh.
It's just the very last snap is the only one holding it on. It is holding on for
So you're
dear
talking about
life.
like wearing them backwards. So I feel like anyone that wears a snapback backwards, they look like a child, because that's the only thing that I see like snapbacks on anymore. It's like small children.
I mean, no, if I wear it forwards, it's only one snap too. I was just doing this for like,
Context.
Yeah, like it's one snap, dude. It is holding on for dear life.
That's crazy. You do got a big ass head, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So you think that's it for Forbidden West? You want to say anything else about it?
Yeah, I think that does it for that. I know you being the giant JRPG nerd that you are, have something else to talk about that also got, dude, this is like announcement week.
So, but even barring that, there was Dying Light 2 was revealed, which looks really, really dope. I love the first game, the enhanced version they did, at least. I've never played the original part, but the enhanced version they did of Dying Light was amazing. So they revealed that. It was the Pokemon thing. There was something else too. I can't remember. Oh, the Sonic.
Oh, dude.
That Sonic mess.
As someone that loves Sonic, like, just let him die, dude.
I'm not a Sonic guy, but that was also another thing. And then the big one for me was the Dragon Quest 35th anniversary. 35 years of Dragon Quest. We are getting old.
You're old.
I am indeed. So they announced Dragon Quest 12 and didn't show anything. We'll get into that in a second. And they also announced, more excitingly to me, because they at least showed stuff from it, was a remake of Dragon Quest 3 from the Octopath developers. And it looks...
I am super stoked for that.
It looks so good.
That's going to be fun.
It's the same type of watercolor art style that they've been doing for the past couple games.
Like it's almost, what's it called? What's the
there's a Japanese term.
Shift lens.
The shift tilt or
tilt shift.
Tilt shift. Yeah.
Tilt shift camera angle kind of deal.
It's so cool. It's a 2D plane with 3D sprites. It looks amazing. The Octopath guys have proven that they can design a freaking video game. They know what they're doing. And I think setting like this kind of, so Dragon Quest 3 has been remade a bunch of times. That you can get it on basically every system that's ever been made. It's been on.
I played it on my phone. First time I played it was on my phone.
It's been on it came out on the NES originally, the Famicom in Japan, and it's been ported to basically every system ever. So it's been remade a bunch of times. But this one, and I've been wanting them to do something like this for a while now, because I think these old RPGs are brilliant in their design and maybe not so much in their quality of life stuff. I would love to see them keep doing this with the entirety of the Dragon Quest series up to maybe like 7 or something like that when they came into 3D. And this game looks incredible. It is definitely like Dragon Quest 3 was one of the most beloved ones. It was like the first one that really took the story stuff to the next level, had bespoke characters, all this stuff. And I think it's going to be super interesting to see them do this with the Octopath guys in charge. And it just looks so good. I'm very excited about it. And it also looks, more excitingly, very far along. So we're probably not going to have to wait too long for it, which is, to me, even more exciting, because I don't want them to reveal something like this and then make us wait 2 years to get it. Like I hope it comes out within this year. And is there
like a sub developer? Because I know Octopath was published by Square Enix. Is it also developed by Square?
So the guys who, I can't remember the name of the developers, but they are owned by Square. Yes. Okay, and so it's the same developers that did them. Did Octopath is also doing this. Mm-hmm. They're also doing. Are they the ones also doing Project Triangle? So that art style looks super similar, but I'm not sure that this is the same. The art style and the writing. The writing was super duper similar too. I don't know that it might be. Tri-Ace is the company that does the Octopath stuff, and they did like Star Ocean back in the day. They've been around for a long time. And I'm not sure if they're doing that Project Triangle. I mean, that from the aesthetics, like the logo. Dude, I played that. I played that demo, and oh my god, I can't wait for that game. It's Octopath's version of Fire Emblem. I'm gonna get all up in it. Yeah, it's gonna be good. All up in that game. You're gonna fill all those holes too.
Yeah, dude, I need those JRPG holes filled.
So that brings me to the other thing about this. That this drives me nuts. So they revealed Dragon Quest 12. We haven't had a Dragon Quest since 11. They ported Dragon Quest 11 to every console on the planet. It's been 4 or 5 years since that game came out. It's a great game. I played the absolute, probably about 100 hours into that game. They did not show anything. I mean, it's a trailer.
What was your favorite part?
The logo, because that's all they showed.
Ooh, tell me about it. Tell me about that logo.
It was fiery, and the
Did it look like a Dragon Quest logo?
100%. But the guy who developed it said we're going for a darker tone, and the trailer definitely establishes that, and I think that's cool. But also, like,
why, like shadows? Just have like shadows on
Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah,
just like
crossover.
Oh no! Don't say that. Don't give people any ideas. But it drives me nuts. This is the same thing that you saw with Bethesda did this a couple of years ago with Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6.
Dude, that Elder Scrolls
it wasn't even a thing. It was just the waterfall with fucking
We're
logo.
working on it.
And I get it; they don't have anything to show, but like maybe don't show anything. It drives me nuts.
The thing is, the fans for game. All right, so particularly for games like Dragon Quest, like Elder Scrolls,
right?
Like
we'll forget about it as soon as they reveal.
They are so rabid and probably like beating on the doors of these developers, like show us something. And
right.
so they're finally like, fuck, here. We're
leave us
working
alone
on it. We're working on it. Here, we got a fucking logo. There you go.
What really upsets me about this is that I feel like if they didn't show anything, the game is not far along at all, right? So it's probably going to be another 2 or 3 years before it actually comes out, which is fine. I don't mind waiting. It's not about that. It's just that it's been very long since the last one, and it seems like this is going to be an even further wait than we previously thought. I'm not, mad at that. There's going to be plenty of games to play. Do
you think it has? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's it. We're gonna have plenty of games to play in between. Like I'm not super worried about it, but it's just like I just kind of I get what you are 100% right. Like the developers, they have to show something. They have to get their fan base something to munch on. While
because people suck. That's why. Because people suck.
And with the Bethesda stuff in particular, it's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, right? Like if you wait 3 more years to reveal Starfield, everyone knows it's coming. Everybody knows that it's going to be a thing. But if you wait that long to reveal and don't say anything in that interim, people are like, we know you're doing this. Everyone knows you're doing it. Why don't you show us something? And then they show something and they're like, that wasn't good enough. Like come back with something else. So
people suck, man.
It's hard to they're in a really thankless position, but
then you've got other companies. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
But then you got other companies like Nintendo who are just like, hey, I know you guys weren't really talking about it, but how about that Metroid?
Oh my god,
we're working on some Metroid. And you want to hear about some Bayonetta?
Well, those are two. So with Metroid, they like fired the original staff and like brought on Retro, who did the Metroid Prime games, halfway through development of that game. So that makes sense why that game's not out yet. But Bayonetta 3. Why the fuck?
Where is it?
That game's been in development for like 9 years. I don't even know. Dude, like I feel like they revealed it right after Bayonetta 2 came out, and that was a long fucking time ago.
Dude, Bayonetta 2 was so good too. Like Bayonetta, I love those games. And you know who else loves those games is Amy.
Oh yeah.
She doesn't play a lot of video games. I bought her a Switch, and she basically plays Animal Crossing and Bayonetta on
nice.
On that.
I love Bayonetta.
And she's played through Bayonetta 1 and 2 like 3 times, both of them.
Nice.
And every time there's like a Nintendo event, she's like, "Okay, cool. Just let me know if there's anything about Bayonetta."
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I mess with her, and I'm like, "Yeah, they revealed it. It's coming out next month."
Oh my god, that's so mean.
She's like, "Oh, really?" And I'm like,
No,
it's never coming out.
This is going to be the new Duke Nukem Forever. Like it's never coming out. So.
Oh god, I hope not. I hope that it has a better fate than Duke Nukem Forever.
I can't imagine that it's going to fare that badly, but it is one of those things where you don't really know.
I'm wondering if they're trying to, because she is such a hypersexualized character. I'm wondering if they are like having a hard time trying to like navigate those waters.
I really don't think they care. I think they plus Japanese culture is very different from American culture when it comes to sexuality and stuff. But I also think that they're like, because if you look at like the way that women talk about Bayonetta, they kind of
They
see her as
love
like
her.
an icon. Yeah. So like I don't think that's because she's sexualized very much, but it's not
But
really.
she does it herself.
Yeah,
Like
and she uses it to literally beat the shit out of men and demons.
yeah,
So
it's
it's just
fucking
like
awesome.
whatever. But yeah, this kind of stuff when it comes to these unreleased games and what people are working on, you don't want to fall into the cyberpunk thing, right? Like where you reveal early and people are so hyped that there's
I'm
no
still
way.
burned by Cyberpunk.
I like cyberpunk, and I think
You
that it's
played it on a
great.
PS5 though.
That's true, and I think it's a great game, but I also think that the hype machine no game would have lived up to the hype from Cyberpunk.
Dude, I
No
was
game would have.
so wrapped up in that hype that like I was watching all of the Night City stories.
Yeah, me too.
All of the Night City
Wire.
reveal. Yeah, Night City Wire. I was watching all of those. I was getting so into that. Like, oh shit, look at this detective mode. It's like Batman, but better.
Yeah.
And then like all this other like every little detail that was getting released, I was gobbling that shit up, and I was so excited to be like, I'm about to get into this crazy ass cyber world that I am just never gonna leave. You know, this is, you know, we've almost reached it. We've almost reached that point, Travis, where I can just plug in to the Matrix like Neo and just never leave my couch.
But that's not what that game was.
It was not what that game was at all. And it kind of
instead it was just a really good Fallout game, which I love. So
yeah, well, Fallout's still overrated.
Oh God, I can't with you right now. So yeah, you don't want to fall into the cyberpunk thing. You don't want to reveal too much too early where people are they have unrealistic expectations of what is going to come. You know, you've got like when it comes to like Breath of the Wild 2, these games that have been revealed really early and haven't really shown much, you can only go down, right? Like, because in people's heads, this game is a masterpiece. So the only thing you can do is disappoint people. So I do think that it is smart to maybe not reveal too much early, but I do think it's very frustrating to get a fucking logo.
They need to temper expectations.
Right. And I think that's what stuff like this is, which is like, hey, get hyped for it, but also fuck you, we're not showing anything, you know?
I think one game that's actually done a good job of tempering expectations and kind of also giving information as it comes is Blizzard with Diablo 4. They've done a really good job of showing what the game is. They've also done a really good job of announcing when they're going to show something from the game and being like, hey, before we even do this video, here's what we're showing. Don't expect anything more and don't bitch at us because we are game developers and we're working on this game for you.
Right.
And they've done a really good job of messaging that, I think. And I think other developers and publishers could probably take a note from that.
Absolutely.
On how they go about their hype cycle, because people are going to be super hyped for Diablo 4 too.
Yep.
I know that I am, like, every time they say anything about Diablo 4, I am chomping at the bit, man.
Yeah.
Like the vertical, that's a whole nother ball of wax. But I think the people that are making Elder Scrolls and Breath of the Wild and all that, they could definitely take a note from those guys as far as the drip feed. Like, don't flood people with information like Cyberpunk.
Right.
Maybe give them little tidbits here and there, because you know they have tidbits. They've got to have tidbits that they could reveal.
They've definitely got stuff to show, and I think it's smart. I mean, like in particular with Diablo 4, everything they've shown from that game makes my little Diablo heart so happy. So the drip feed that they're giving you is just like, here's a hit, here's a hit, here's a hit, here's a hit. We'll give you a little bit more later. Like, we know you're coming back.
Yeah, and they also like they know how to like inform the audience with also saying, hey, you know, this game's still a far way out.
Yes. Yeah. Don't be expecting this in the next year because it ain't coming out right now.
They can satiate while still setting expectations. Whilst setting expectations.
Absolutely.
Great expectations.
I think that, yes, this is very Dickensian. Dickensian. Dixon?
Dix.
All right. On that note, I think we should take a break and then come back and do the emails and be done with this.
Yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back in a minute.
The drinking side of gaming and drinking has taken over.
Cheers to you. We'll be right
back.
I said good day. We'll be right back.
It's a good sound.
Yeah, it is. Welcome back, everybody, to Gaming and Drinking, where we are drinking and gaming.
As we speak.
Yep, right now we are doing that. We are great gaming and drinking. So we are both drinking more than we're gaming. And we've got a couple questions, and then we're going to call it a day.
I have a new beer here. I want to shout it out because it's one of mine. It's dear to my heart. This is Amor Artis, Fort Millsner. They are out of Fort Mills, which is where my company is based out of. And the Amor Artis van is actually the one that I drive for my company vehicle. So if you see the Amor Artis van running around, that's me. And this is just a straight up easy drinking Pilsner. Let's get it.
Yeah. Better than that milkshake you just were sipping.
Boy, that was something else.
All right, so let's get right into it.
That is a beer-ass beer.
Nice. I got a question from Keith in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Okay.
He asks, what is your opinion on cash shops in video games?
Like
just I guess microtransactions.
Okay.
Yeah. Microtransactions.
That guy always showing up everywhere.
Michael, you son of a bitch.
Always ruining things.
No, but I mean, as far as microtransactions. Oh my god.
We just went off the rails.
Microtransactions go. I don't mind them. I think they're okay. It really, it depends on the game, but a lot of them, they do it in a way that doesn't piss me off. And then every now and then you'll find one that really, it just seems kind of predatory and terrible. The obviously the most egregious one in my brain is the Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
That was really gross.
That's the horror story for most of these types of games.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to be known as the game that ruined microtransactions for everybody else. Like it was so bad that the game literally had to be reworked from the bottom up to take all that shit out.
Yeah, I mean they had loot boxes on top of loot boxes that were just.
Well, the worst part about that game was that they tied the microtransactions to gameplay stuff. So like your aim would get better depending on the loot, like your drop.
And it was randomized. It was randomized. That's so ridiculous. Who would do that? You might get better aim. You might get a different color stormtrooper helmet.
Like you never know.
Yeah. So that was kind of the most egregious one out there. But whenever it comes to stuff like
hold on, let me get Monster wants to get he's like losing his shit over here. Hold on 1 second.
Okay. But as far as like, there are some games that I think do it really well. One game that I think really does it well is Apex Legends. Some of that stuff gets kind of expensive, but none of it is pay to win. So you might have a skin that costs like $10 to $20, but it's not going to change any aspect of how the gameplay is.
Right.
And if you really want to spend that money, that's on you. Like, And there's no, as far as I know, I'm not a PC player. I know that when you get into PC, there's like a whole like black market of items that people sell, which I know nothing about.
The Steam marketplace. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I think it's what you're talking about, like the Steam marketplace stuff. That's all that's like you have to go find that, right? Like it's not in your face. If you want to interact with that market, you absolutely can. For me, it is about how in your face is this shit. And I think you just started playing Destiny 2. Destiny 2 is very smart about the microtransactions thing. If you do not want to, I have never spent a dime on microtransactions in Destiny 2, but if you want to, you can absolutely spend money all day in that market.
You could bankrupt yourself.
Absolutely. And I think that that's the way to do it. Like, so I've also been playing Genshin Impact, which is free to play, ginormous open world RPG.
You've actually been playing that? I've never touched it. Is it any good?
It's very fun. It is super Breath of the Wild. Not as good. I don't like the combat, the 4 different characters,
Yeah, but,
like
but
type of
okay,
thing.
we'll talk about that later. But all right, microtransactions.
But the thing about that one is it's like it's one of those free to play games where it's like boom, 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 like buy these crystals, do this, best value, 99.99 or whatever,
Oh, that's the worst.
For me, it is. Does it look like a phone game? I'm not. That is not what I want. I do not want any of that kind of like UI on my screen. I don't want any of that shit in my games. If you want to do microtransactions, more power to you. I know that that's a lot of how developers get paid these days. Like they make a lot of money off the back end. Grand Theft Auto, that basically is they're running an entire country in that thing right now. They're making so much money.
Literally, yeah.
So that's fine. And I've never spent a dime in Grand Theft Auto Online either. So I don't, as long as I can play the game and not feel like I'm being nickeled and dimed to death. With Apex, I buy the battle pass every single season, even if I don't complete it.
The awesome thing about that, though, is, and I think they've done this as a great incentive to buy initially, is if you buy the battle pass and you level up that battle pass all the way, you will have enough currency built through the battle pass to get the roll it into the next
assuming
season.
That you don't buy anything else with that currency, like skins or something like that.
Yeah, but you get all these Apex packs and stuff like that, and you get crafting material from that. So there's like 3 different kinds of currencies in Apex, which the amount of different currencies in games is, I think, getting outrageous. But I get why it's there and why they're doing it, especially in a game like Apex, because that's what
free.
I know.
And they don't, and they're really good about not being predatory about it. Like they're not like, you could have this sick gun if you just paid a little bit of money. They don't do anything like that.
You have to tab over to the store and then like pick a paid item. And then it's like, hey, do you want to buy some tokens?
Apex is really smart about it too, because it's just like Destiny 2, where you see something in the game and you're like, that's sick. How do I get that? And a lot of times the answer is you got to pay a little bit of money, and that is completely fine.
You got to pay the troll toll.
God damn it.
What?
Your face is. I can't do it. Oh God. All
right, that's enough of that question. Yeah, so microtransactions, they can be fun. Microtransactions, they can be fun. They can also be shitty. So then I've got another question from Corey in Savannah, Georgia. He wants to know, do you think smoking weed increases or decreases your skills in gaming?
No,
because I don't smoke weed anymore.
For me,
kind of, but not often enough. I don't ever smoke and play games. If I'm smoking, I'm watching cartoons. Like that's.
I think smoking weed is like drinking, in that you reach a point where I think it enhances your game. First, it definitely enhances the experience overall. I think the same with like movies or sex.
Unless it's really spooky.
I mean, depends on your point of view, but yes.
Then you're like,
then you're crying in a corner.
Yeah.
But then I think, just like with drinking and gaming at the same time, you reach a plateau and then you crest down. And weed is the same way, because there's no doubt that weed literally inhibits your ability to like process things quickly. So if your reaction time is going to be slower for a lot of people. I mean, if you smoke a shit ton every day, it probably doesn't affect you like that, and you're probably fine. But for people like us who probably don't smoke that much, I definitely feel like you get to a point where you're like, I'm on fire, I got this, and then you just crest that and you go downhill from there. And once you reach that point,
so like say there's like 100-minute time frame that you there we go.
my favorite.
100-minute time frame. This is the 100-minute time frame. So for 20 minutes of that, you're getting better.
You're going up.
You're going up, and then like there's 80 minutes of it just getting progressively worse.
Right. And I think the other problem with that is that at least for me, speaking personally, I tend to get really distracted, mostly because I get hungry, and I want to eat everything, dude. That's in the room. I hear you
munching on fucking cereal and chips. I was munching on chips earlier.
I was about to say I didn't do it in the middle of the podcast. So, but you get like I tend to just get distracted and maybe not like focus as well as I could or should. And I get frustrated really easily if I'm really high, because I'm like, everything is so enjoyable until it's not enjoyable. And then you're like, well, now I'm mad because it's not enjoyable. You know what I mean? And I think that can be like a big problem for that kind of thing. And it's just like anything else. When you're in that moment and it's good, it's really good. And then when it's not good anymore, it really ain't good anymore.
Which is why I suggest smoking weed and watching Rick and Morty. That's kind of where I'm at on that. I don't really like if I'm smoking weed. I actually I don't really smoke much at all anymore. But when I do, it's like I have to be doing nothing.
Yeah.
Like because okay, so back in college I used to smoke a ton of weed, but like these days it's like a very rare occasion for me. Mm-hmm. And now it's like if you want me to function, you want me to actually do something besides eat gummy bears and like watch
chips.
Fucking yeah.
One of my favorite things to do if I get stoned is to play something I'm super familiar with, so I don't really have to think about it. So like I'll go back to like Breath of the Wild or old Final Fantasy games, something that I played a bunch of. And it makes you get just like so immersed in it. You know what I mean? Because you know it top to bottom and you're like in that mode where everything is fun. And I feel like you can take, when it comes to these kinds of like mind altering, same with drinking, you kind of notice things that you maybe wouldn't if you weren't enhanced, let's say. And you're like, oh, I've never really I've never really looked at it. Yeah.
You play the game and you just say enhance. And then
you're really noticing things that you maybe haven't paid attention to before because you're experiencing it in a different way, right? Like you're seeing things in a different light, for lack of a better term. And you kind of like can enjoy something in a different way, which is why I like going to something that I'm really familiar with, because it makes it that much more enjoyable because you're, kind of seeing things that you haven't really thought of before. So like I love going to old games or even old movies and stuff that I've watched a bunch, like watching Star Wars for the 9,000 times.
That's probably my go-to.
Yeah, and you just see things, and then quoting Anakin's dumbass quotes like he hates sand and shit like that. Like
oh my god,
you get so into it. It's really good. But yeah, I think that's like anything, you plateau, you go downhill. Maybe don't get with your friends when you're super stoned, and unless you do it all the time, then you can do whatever you want. But like maybe don't do a team-based game if you're so stoned that you can't function, or so drunk that you can't function. That also is bad.
Yeah, maybe one day I'll talk about some board game. I like board games a lot too. Mm-hmm. I play Descent is my number one. Holy shit, dude! If you're scared to play D&D but you want an RPG type game, play Descent. It's a lot of fun.
Is that a license? Is that like a D&D license or?
No, it's something completely different. And actually, the reason I play that instead of D&D is because there's actually an app, a companion app that does the D.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really smart. So I love stuff like that.
Dude, it's so good. And me and Amy play that. And you have your little minifigures.
I still want to play the Doom game.
Dude, I know. Oh man, we should play that, and we should play Descent. God dang it. Okay, I wish
we could do like I guess we could do an online one, like through Zoom or whatever. But that kind of thing
that might be possible.
That's why the Steam actually has a lot of like, they have a Gloomhaven game now, which is a really popular board game.
Oh, Steam has a Gloomhaven?
Mm-hmm. I think it's in early access still.
Is it Jaws of the Lion?
It's the whole game, like I don't know what
there's Gloomhaven and there's Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion.
I assume it has like multiple campaigns with it. But it basically does all the Gloomhaven. Like it is 100% just that board game. Like, I mean, it's animated and stuff, but
that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. I'll put that in the show for next week. We can talk about it. I'll take a look at it on Steam. I think it's in early access still, but there's a lot of those types of, like, a really popular part of Steam now is, basically board games brought to life through the PC.
Could I play those on my Mac?
I have no idea. I mean, some
Could
Steam games.
We play board games together?
Yeah, if you have a Steam account,
download. I can make a Steam account. I don't
download Steam. It'll straight up tell you if it's Mac.
That could be a stream thing we do.
Yeah.
That'd be an easy stream thing to do because we actually already have our PCs up. We got mics, and I could actually do that. I've got a mic and a camera here. We could stream together.
And I imagine that most of those games are not like super intensive on the hardware, and Steam will tell you straight up if you can run it on a Mac or not. It'll be like Mac compatible, Linux compatible, Microsoft PC compatible.
Okay.
So you'll be able to know immediately if you can run it. And I think a lot of those games you probably could, because they're not like, pushing your graphics over or anything like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. So I think that might be something we can do for sure. I definitely want to look into that. But anyways, weed makes you good until it doesn't.
Yep, that's the.
I think we need to wrap it up though, dude. I feel like this
Absolutely.
one. I feel like we've been going for a while, and I am pretty toasted. So, anyways, this, follow us on Instagram at Gaming and Drinking, Twitter at Gaming and Drinking, YouTube /blah-de-blah-de-blah.
I'm still working on figuring out OBS for streaming. Streaming is a lot more complicated than I thought it would be. Shout outs to all the streamers out there, because you guys are
work on it, dude.
You make it look really easy, and it is not easy at all.
Get it together, bro. Get it together.
I'm working on it. Honestly, like the hardest part for me is figuring out how to work this stuff and make it entertaining at the same time. I've never worked with this kind of technology before. I will get it. I'm reading up on it. I don't want to mess it up. I don't want to be boring or anything. But we will post all that stuff. It'll be on the gaming.
Shit, I think we're fucked.
I think we're doing all right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, dude. I think we're doing pretty good, man. I'm enjoying the hell out of this.
Absolutely.
Even if we don't have that many viewers at the moment, which hopefully we will one day,
Yeah.
Everybody has no viewers until they have all the viewers.
Exactly.
All of a sudden. So we're gonna keep doing this.
We're gonna keep doing it. We haven't missed a week yet, and we're gonna keep going. And we're gonna figure out more stuff. Episode 2 in the bank.
In the bank. So yeah, this has been episode
Your Gaming and Drinking.
Episode 2, Gaming and Drinking Cast. Cheers to you guys.
Cheers.
And follow, subscribe, all that fun shit. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.